go. Oh. Hello, everyone, and I hope you are all having a wonderful morning. I am so pleased to be the first to welcome you to the Space Grand Challenge, or the SGC, where the next generation of cybersecurity leaders are stepping up, logging in, and launching into orbit to protect the digital universe. My name is Madeline Hott, but feel free to call me Maddie. I'm a third-year Cal Poly San Luis Obispo student, and to my right, I am joined by my good friend Henry. Henry, do you want to tell the people a little bit about yourself, what you do at the Cybersecurity Institute?
Sure. And hello, everybody. Welcome, Cosmic Cybernauts. We cannot wait for you to challenge yourself with Space Grand Challenge this year. My name is Henry Danielson, one of your friend and fellow people trying to get to space and save satellites. Cybersecurity is so important. One of the cool things, I work here at the California Cybersecurity Institute as a curriculum developer. Also, I advise on technical issues, do lots of different things. We help people from the state government. We work with Space Force. We do lots of different things to help people learn about cybersecurity as well as protecting our spacecraft, satellites, and assets. Another cool thing that I do here is I teach at Cal Poly. I've been here for 22 years as a professor. No ego attached. Just really honored.
Totally humble.
Really honored to be teaching young people, and I love it. It is such a fun time that we can share together and see how the Space Grand Challenge and what we do here. I'm really thrilled to be here today with Maddie, learning about it. We'll talk a little bit about my outfit here in a few minutes, but back to finishing what else I do. I also run a small school district in the area, which is really fun, and I try to help young people with cybersecurity and their technology needs. So again, first I also wanted to say thanks to my family. Thanks for watching. Thanks, wife, and son and daughter and everyone else. Appreciate it for watching today and being supportive of all that I do here at the California Cybersecurity Institute, as well as working with these wonderful Cal Poly students behind me and everywhere. So grateful to be here today.
Yeah, and Henry really plays himself down. He is a tech whiz. I mean, ever since I joined the cybersecurity team and the SGC team, he has taught me so much about the safety and about safety online in general. And he talks about teaching, and it's super important that we teach our children of tomorrow how to be safe online, because we are growing in a digital world that is increasingly becoming more difficult to navigate. But speaking of digital world, you have a lot of interesting things on our table.
I know, right? Well, let's start off. Can we start off with this guy?
Yeah.
So let's start off with the CubeSat hat. I made this creation. Thank you very much, Ryan. Did some bolting and sniveling and wiveling to get it to be here. This is
awesome.
Great AMSAT satellite that me and some of the Cal Poly students built this summer.
Wow.
And it's a simulation. It's called AMSAT Simulator. And you get a ground control station as well as building. I think we soldered over 150 points.
Whoa.
It was all 3D printed here at Cal Poly and solar paneled, and it all works and everything's awesome. And I thought, how cool would it be to find a hard hat that has planets on it? And let's put my CubeSat on top of this. And yes, I can't probably do any dancing today, but that's okay. I'm really thrilled to be here. And super cool. Thanks a lot for everyone that helped me build this. And I take it now to conferences and teach people about CubeSats as well as cybersecurity.
Do you mind telling those at home, maybe parents or individuals who might not know what a CubeSat is?
Yeah, so typically what a CubeSat does is, and by the way, they were created by Cal Poly here in San Luis Obispo and
Really
Stanford. It was a collaboration between those two universities a while ago. And since then, a lot of different universities take the CubeSat, which is a 1, this is called a 1U, and then they have 2U all the way up to 6U.
Okay.
And each one has components in there that talk to the ground station. And typically at the beginning, what they were doing is putting cameras on there or putting sensors to be able to look at the particles in different mass inside space.
Okay.
So typically CubeSats are used for scientific missions. So they're simple. They go up. They get a ride on a rocket ship, and they get jetted or propelled right off of the rocket right into a low Earth orbit.
Wow.
And then they start turn on. And anytime you see one of these red things that says remove before flight, that's because as soon as you jerk that thing out of there, that's when the CubeSat is now functional and operational.
Wow.
So that's why you see all these little remove before flights. That's what they really do. It's to make sure they can turn them on and turn them off. So if I took this one out, it would turn on the satellite and would start communicating. When I put it back in, then it stops the communications. So CubeSats, again, generally are for scientific experiments.
Okay.
Now there are thousands. I was just at a CubeSat workshop at the Performing Arts Center last week, where we had over 300 or 400 people come from all over the planet that do CubeSats and do science. So that's kind of what they are and how special they are to us here at Cal Poly, because we are one of the creators.
Yeah, that is super, super interesting. And I'm so glad that you gave us an understanding of what those are, because we are going to talk a lot about that when we talk about the story of the SGC later in the broadcast. But you also have these things here.
What would you like to talk about first,
Oh,
friend?
my goodness. I don't know if I can decide. Well, when I first showed up at the SGC, I was shown this airplane badge. And guys, it blew my mind. I'm not even kidding. Look how cool this thing is. Do you want to tell people a little bit about it?
Sure. So this is ADSB, and what it does is it tracks airplanes. So my friend Ryan and I, we have gone. He's one of our AWSers and an amazing person that helps us out at Space Grand Challenge. We went over to the San Luis Obispo Airport with our trackers here, ADBS, and what it does is it tells you all the different information, how fast it's flying, the name of the plane, all this specific information, and this is public knowledge so that everyone can kind of see when the planes come in, when they come out. You can also do this on your computer, but this is a really cool badge, and let me just flip it. You can kind of see right now there is actually one airplane on there. See that little dot?
Yes, I do see
There's
it.
one dot on there, so it's actually tracking one of the airplanes, and I'm going to see if I can switch it over really quick to show the flight list. And it's showing one actual airplane. So you can actually see the airplane coming in. And the other thing that's really amazing about this badge is they put a full Linux system on there, which is able to house pictures, videos. So right here we have a cool picture of a satellite kind of crashing.
That's awesome.
But anyway, super fun. And Badge Life is really great. It's one of the cool things at DEF CON, a security conference that we go to. And we're part of the Aerospace Village there, where we are promoting aerospace as well as satellites, airplanes, and space vehicles. So this little guy, super fun. And it was great to see Maddie at the Noise open house and talk a little bit. And I brought this badge to kind of share a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw it, my first thought was like, imagine taking that to LAX.
Right?
That'd be crazy.
Probably fill up the badge
Yes.
in a nanosecond of how many actually are going.
Yeah.
So,
what else do you have for us?
So I brought another one here. This one's really cool. These are called silly add-ons. And the one on the lower is the gold disc that NASA put on a specific spacecraft. I'm going to have you GTS that, Google that stuff. But look for NASA gold disc. Really cool. My son and I designed that and made that.
Awesome.
And these are called silly add-ons that you put on big badges. And if you come back to this one has it right here on this other side where you can attach little badges or silly add-ons. This one on the top is really brand new. His name is Moonlighter, rest in peace. He was part of the Hackasat program, and he ended up, not doing so well and kind of burned up. So rest in peace for this little guy.
Oh, no.
We wanted to give him a little shout out and excitement for him today.
Yeah, for those who may not or are learning these things about Badge Life right now, the best way I think to describe silly add-ons are if you have ever owned Crocs, you can add those widgets to them. They're just like fun little, cosmetic things. They're so cute and cool.
That's a great way to put that.
And then you have this thing,
yes. So,
my favorite.
Oh boy. Okay, so I'm a huge music fan. Anybody know who this is? Is anybody in the house? Okay, Maddie, you're up.
Daft Punk. It's Daft Punk.
Someone in the back. Kevin knows who is this. How about shout out together? 1, 2, 3.
Daft Punk.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn on this Daft Punk badge, and this is the biggest badge that they make at DEF CON that we know about, and we're going to fire them up and see what happens. Right.
So neat.
Oh, we just got rickrolled. People. Who does that?
Oh my
right?
goodness.
So this is a really cool badge. Has speakers. You can wear it around your neck. Really fun. I'll see if I can do get some Daft Punk to play on there. Over, I think, 350 LED blinky lights. These two right here are speakers to make it bump. And let me tell you, the volume does go up.
Oh, it is high.
So anyway,
I can attest.
Very excited about this. Has an SD card. Let me flip them around so you can see the back of the badge.
How
to kind of
neat.
see some of the technology that goes on there. There's an SD card loaded with all the cool songs that I want. You can hook it up to a computer. There's challenges on there. It's one of my favorite and amazing badges. And how could you not party or have a good time with this kind of badge?
Already I want to dance. I mean, I was dancing. It's so cool.
So anyway,
I'm a big
those are
fan.
some of the badges that I brought this year. And I do have to give us a shout out to one of our other ones is Simply Cyber.
Look how
and
cool.
Simply Cybers is a really cool one that they made. It has glowing lights on the back, and when you press it against your body, the lights glow. And this was created by Dan Allen and the Simply Cyber, and they're one of our great sponsors. So I just wanted to give them a shout out and say thank you very much for all that you do.
Thank you so much, Henry. And I'm going to kind of pull it back and talk a little bit more about the SGC. The SGC is more than just a competition. It's a virtual game-based challenge made by students for students right here at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo with a dedicated team of developers and cybersecurity professionals. It's designed to help middle school and high school students kind of interact with cybersecurity in a fun and engaging way that allows them to hone their own cyber skills in the process. So before we get started, I kind of want to give a little bit of an agenda for all of you back home, just in case, get you a little bit excited. We've talked a little bit about badges, but we're going to talk a lot more very soon. So we have interactive challenges that reflect real-world cyber threats. We have live commentary by yours truly and expert insights by people like Henry. We have behind-the-scenes action, special features on how the SGC was created and what makes it so impactful. And of course, we have the incredible teamwork, determination, and creativity of the students rising to meet today's challenge. So whether you are a mentor or a competitor or a parent, an educator or a cybersecurity professional, we are so excited to introduce you to the tech talent of tomorrow. The SGC is about giving students the tools, the confidence, and most importantly, the platform to kind of allow themselves to hone their own cyber skills and have fun in the process, just entertain themselves and kind of experience things they may have not been able to otherwise. But before we jump into action and start our journey, I want to cut to a short segment because we need to thank our sponsors, the people who made it possible for this event to happen. The Space Grand Challenge would not be possible without the vision, generosity, and partnership of our sponsors, organizations and individuals who believe in empowering the next generation of cybersecurity leaders. Their support helps make this experience immersive, accessible, and inspiring for students around the world. So let's take a moment to highlight and thank the sponsors who helped bring the SGC to life. AWS,
Woohoo!
Elementrix,
Yay!
Splunk, Splash Top, Simply Cyber, Paradigm,
Woohoo!
and Aerospace Village.
Woo! Touchdown!
Once again, a huge thank you to our sponsors, and we thank you so much for helping us put on this wonderful event.
Thank you all.
We are going to cut to a short break, but do not leave just yet, because when we come back, we're going to talk about the story of the SGC, and let me tell you.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
right?
we do not want to miss that. You have to be here. And we're going to talk about how to contact the Discord support team.
Thank you, Maddie. You are doing such a fabulous job
thank
today.
you.
Very excited to be here today, and thank you again for all your kindness and hard work. And Kevin in the background. Shout out for Kevin.
Shout out Kevin. We are so excited to have you here today, and we look forward to the rest of our broadcast. Thank you, Henry. Bye. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. And as promised, we're going to go over the story of the SGC and the Discord support system. But first, I want to introduce to you, all you guys, to my friend to the right. This is my friend Lex, and they are part of the Discord support team.
Hello.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, so I'm a junior here at Cal Poly. I just joined the team recently, and I'm working on the Discord. I don't know if you guys have seen my messages or anything so far, but yeah, I hope to make it a very entertaining place and hopefully something that you guys can um, use just after the competition or before, and maybe we can grow a community out of it.
Yeah, that is super interesting. I've actually seen the Discord, guys, and it's pretty legit. I mean, you guys did a really, really good job.
Thank
But
you.
I'm not trying to stress you guys out any longer. I promised the story of the SGC, and I am going to give it to you. So now that we're ready to begin, let's kind of shift gears. Behind every great challenge, there is a story, and this year is no different. We have to truly immerse ourselves in the world of the Space Grand Challenge in order to understand what kind of crisis this virtual world is going through. So I fully invite you, wherever you are, to settle in, maybe grab a snack, and really let yourself kind of sink into the story of the SGC. Breaking news. Panic arises at the Moonshot Satellite's ground control station. The team has discovered a remote access Trojan, or a RAT, deployed via a social engineering attack. Moonshot's network communications are down between ground control and the Moonshot Satellite's lunar base 5G network. A remote access Trojan? A RAT? The
rat.
acronym is RAT? That sounds, I mean, I don't know about you, Lex, but that sounds
It's
pretty,
a rat.
that does not,
Oh,
it's
a
a rat.
rat.
That sounds really bad, guys. I mean, not to mention the communication is down.
Yeah. Comms
How-
are very important.
Exactly. Comms are very important in anything, in basketball, in sports, in video games.
In
Comms are very,
relationships,
in
communication
relationships.
is number one.
Comms are very important, and this sounds pretty critical. But
Yeah.
let's not jump the gun, guys. We can. I'm sure it's fine. Right?
Yeah, no, it'll be chill.
The RAT has initiated an attack on one of the base's primary CubeSat communication code payloads. The hacker group, Unwanted Guest, has claimed responsibility and threatened to maneuver the CubeSat's antennas, impacting the base's critical communications link and ability to phone home. Additionally, the attack has exposed a critical zero-day exploit in the 5G network that needs to be closed quickly. Lex, I fear this may have just gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, this is a step up from being pest control.
Exactly,
Yeah.
a big step up from being pest control. I mean, a zero-day exploit?
Yeah, you guys gotta get this done like now.
They couldn't give us a one-day exploit?
No.
0 days? I have no days?
No
Are you
going
kidding?
home for you.
Like, what the heck? On top of that, if we lose those antennas from the CubeSat, which thanks to Henry in our introduction, we were able to kind of get a little insight on what exactly a CubeSat is, like this thing on our desk, CubeSat right here. If we lose the CubeSat, we could lose the antennas of the entire lunar network. So our challengers better work fast, I think.
Yeah.
But, let's see what else we got. The Moonshot Satellites team is working hard to identify the vectors of the multiple cyber attacks and restore systems. A zero-day exploit on the lunar base's 5G network is suspected. The plan is to reestablish the laser by remotely driving the lunar repair robot, or the LRR, to investigate the issue initiated by the RAT. The compromise has created a cyber-physical problem, generating heat on the network module and burning out the network cable, requiring physical replacement, hence demonstrating the cyber-physical nature of the issue. Man, a zero-day exploit sounds like we have literally no defense against
No.
this attack.
Oh, we gotta build some.
We got to do something
Yeah, we gotta.
quick.
It's gotta be like Clash of Clans. Come on.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
build your base. Come on.
We got to build our base. Exactly. Not only do our competitors have to work fast, but they have to work effectively, which is honestly really difficult. And the lunar 5G network is open to all sorts of dangerous cyber attacks right now. So it's important that our competitors step up to the challenge and complete this mission. How did the hackers access Moonshot Satellite's lunar base's 5G infrastructure? How could this socially engineered attack have been prevented on the ground station on Earth? The future of the safety of this multi-million-dollar company is at stake. Can you help Moonshot Satellites recover from this devastating blow before the deadline? Wow. I mean,
Multi-million-dollar.
yeah, that's a lot. I'm kind of overwhelmed. I mean, I'm stressed out. I get stressed out when I get a spam call on my phone. I'm like, what is
Oh, yeah.
happening? How do
No.
I?
This is like worse than looking at like your canvas. Like
Yes,
this is worse than
exactly.
looking at
I
your
forgot an
grades.
assignment almost
Yeah.
due and it's 11 o'clock. This is worse. I get stressed out. But myself and Lex and our whole SGC team have full confidence that you have the skills to handle this mission. Space is the future, and cybersecurity is the paramount in securing space assets. This cybercrime scenario is based on multiple breach scenarios, including satellites, deep space networks, 5G networks, CubeSats, and remote lunar systems. It involves analyzing puzzles, evidence, and digital forensics to solve the mission. We need cunning cyber warriors to solve this crime. Your challenge is to use your skills in digital forensics, cybersecurity research, satellites, and outer space. And that is where our mission begins. What do you think, Lex?
I think it's definitely going to be a challenge, but everyone's got it. Like, I believe in everyone. What I've seen so far, you guys are very talented, and obviously, like, you're up to the task for a reason, and I think you guys got it.
That is so nice. Man, Lex believes in you guys, so you better not let him down. I'm kidding.
I
You guys-
choose you.
You guys won't let Lex down. I'm sure you won't. And, as mentioned before, the SGC has full confidence that you guys have the skills to handle on this mission. But in case you get a little stuck or you have any problems with the system, don't worry, because our Discord team has many outlets. Actually, our entire SGC team has wonderful outfits. Look at them.
Yeah,
Look at them all
they're
back
all
there. Look at our support
around.
staff. Everybody wave. Hello, support staff.
There's also more over there.
Yeah,
right there.
exactly.
You can't see.
And I know you guys didn't wave behind the screen, and now we look silly.
Yeah.
Everybody wave.
I pray that you guys are actually waving. Like,
Yeah.
I could see you. Yes, you. You're doing it back.
You're
Oh,
doing
thank
good.
you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. We really, really appreciate it. And our entire team is here to help you. But to give you guys an idea of how to reach those outlets, we are going to send you to a short break where we're going to watch a video of the Discord support team, and they're going to show you how to contact them in case you get stuck. So we hope you enjoy that. We'll see you very soon. Bye.
GC 2025 Cosmic Cybernauts. This is our Discord server where you'll be communicating with your team and other competitors. To get started, click on a role that's applicable to you. If you're a player, click player. If you're a coach, click coach. And if you're a parent or guardian or any other spectator, please select this one. After selecting your role, please read and agree to the server rules. Once you do that, you're in. Welcome to SGC 2025. Before we get started, there are going to be a couple things you're going to have to do. First, start by going to the general chat. Say hello to someone. And then, look at the announcements. See if there's anything there that's important to you. Then, read the rules one more time. Let's start from the top. After reading all these rules, then go back to the server guide and accept those rules by typing "I accept the rules" in this channel. Before you start having fun on this server, there's one last thing you're going to want to do, and that's verify. You want to go down to the verify channel over here and link your Discord to your game day account. Alright, so you're officially in the SGC 2025 server. So let me give you a tour. Here we have our first two general channels. Basically, you could talk about anything here. Here's a channel for any quick questions, maybe a peer or a mod can get back to you. Here's a channel for feedback and suggestions for us. And just below this, we have our fun category. Be sure to check out these sections before the game begins and also afterward for some fun, entertaining additions to our event. And finally, we have the game support. You can come down here over to commands, and you can see every command that you could use in this server. Right under that, we have the FAQ. If you go to the post guidelines, make sure that you're only posting general questions only. A mod or a fellow peer will help get back to you as soon as possible. And if you have any more individualized questions, please refer to the help desk. A mod could specifically help you out. And that's basically all to the SGC server. Make sure you're following the rules and go have fun.
Welcome back, everyone. We really hope that you enjoyed that video and you were able to learn a few things too. And we're going to bring it back to Lex. Do you have anything to say to
I
the
hope
people?
y'all enjoyed hearing my 500th take on that video. I hope y'all didn't miss my voice. I know I may have sounded a little monotone in it, but trust me, that was attempt number like 632. So
Yeah. Man, I don't know, like, I play video games for everybody at home. So sometimes some games will have like rewards and activities for joining their Discord team. And let me tell you, our Discord team's Discord is legit, people. When I joined, I was like, whoa, this is like a community. You
Oh
guys
yeah,
have
no,
roles and everything.
we can get a lot more in the future too. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely building up to that. Still researching more things to do, more bots to put in. So far we only have like 3 or 4, but
Hmm.
hopefully we could expand that, and we want to make it into an actual community. We want to do
Yeah.
like like game nights or movie nights
Oh, that's
eventually.
fun.
So it's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So stick around.
Yeah, for those at home who may not know what Discord is, like parents or maybe some teachers, do you want to explain like what exactly Discord bots are? What do they
Yeah.
do?
So I'm pretty sure everyone's heard of Skype or
Mm-hmm.
like Microsoft Teams. It's essentially that. It's a giant group chat of everyone, but there's like a hierarchy that you can create, and there's gonna be AI bots that we put in, or bots, whatever. But some have different roles. Like some could play music for you. Some
Mm-hmm.
could you could type to the bot and they'll give you like a prompt to do something, or you can play games. If you check out some of the fun channels, you could kind of experience what they got. We got the bot that verifies people,
Mm-hmm.
and when you accept the rules, and hopefully we're gonna add more and everything. But yeah,
Yeah. I love Discord bots because you can do genuinely
yeah,
anything with them. They are everywhere. One of my favorite Discord bots, other than the music one, basically, for those who don't know, you can join VCs. So, like, you can
voice
join them
channels.
whenever, you can leave them whenever, but you can kind of type commands into the Discord and they will put the music box in there and like play whatever song you're listening
Yeah, you could
to.
have like a group like session, a group like jam out session.
It's
Like
so, so cool.
yeah, you could all like cue music together and like make a your own playlist. I already saw a team in there doing that. I had to help them with that, but yeah, it
Yeah.
was cool.
So I noticed when I was going through the Discord yesterday, there was like some all the students are able to pick their own team names.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of them are able to pick their own team names. I saw one of them had like a unicorn in it or something, a
Mhm.
unicorn emoji. It was a little hard to get into our system. It did cause some errors, but but it was praised by the SGC team, like saying like, damn, oh, this is a great like name. It's so
Yeah.
unique. I love the addition of the emoji,
Mhm.
even though it kind of broke our system. But it's
It's
okay.
cool. It's cool. I was going through the names and shout out whatever team this is, but I was looking through them. I saw one that was like I think it was Chicken Jockey,
Oh
and
yeah,
I
the
was
chicken
like,
jockey. I
oh
saw
my
them.
goodness, I know
Uh-huh.
where that's from. The Minecraft movie. Big shout out there. Uh, is there anything else you want to talk about in the Discord that you want the students to know, or anything in general?
I'm just saying, just stick around after. Make sure just to communicate with us if you have any issues,
Mhm.
and
That's
yeah,
important.
I just stay around and see what kind of community we could build, and yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lex. We really appreciate it. Shout out to all the competitors watching right now. Do not be afraid to contact any of our Discord team or any of our support team if you have any issues. But we are going to end this segment here and we're going to come back with a tour of our Unity room with a tour of it with one of our Unity students. We're going to walk around and tour the virtual world our mission is going to be held in. So we are so excited to see you there. Well, see you soon. Bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the broadcast. And as promised, we're going to do a walkthrough of the Unity Room, the mission station where our competitors are going to be. And to my right, I have a new friend. This is Jacob. Jacob, do you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about what you do?
Why, of course. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Space Grand Challenge. My name is Jacob. I'm one of the Unity developers here at the Space Grand Challenge ran by the
Mhm.
California Cybersecurity Institute, and this is one of the rooms that I worked on during my time here.
Perfect. And for those who don't know, maybe parents or educators or anybody else that's tuning into the broadcast, hello, by the way, can you share a little bit about what Unity is?
Yes, of course. So Unity is a software hosted on all kinds of devices. Basically, what it is it allows developers to go in and place all the objects in different areas around the
Mm.
rooms. It allows us to go ahead and script the game so that players can move around and interact with anything. In short, it is just a program that allows us to create the games that we want you to play.
Nice. Okay, so this is our station. Do you want to walk around? Do you want me to walk around?
Honestly, I would rather have you walk
Okay,
around. Yeah.
perfect. So, what should I start with? Oh my goodness.
Yes, so there's a lot of things in the room. We have a couple of chairs, a couple of really cool objects. That one is kind of a hologram of what looks to be Saturn. It's just a general planet. There's no specific planet that's used after,
Ooh.
but basically when you interact with it, it will open up a challenge prompt for the competitors to go ahead and solve.
Wow. Okay, so ignore that, everyone. We have lost one of the lights. It's okay, guys. We don't really need it. So you have a ton of challenges in this room.
So that room specifically has three. This is the
Okay.
pre-qualification room. So
Okay.
competitors go here first to make sure that they have the necessary foundation understanding for what a capture the flag is.
Okay, that's really, really cool. Can you explain to the audience a little bit more what a capture the flag is?
Yes, so a capture the flag in cybersecurity is when competitors will go into virtual rooms where they'll have to download
Mm-hmm.
files and they will have to solve some sort of challenge in return for basically a line of text
Okay.
that is the flag, so to speak, in that you're trying to capture and then input for points.
Man, so this is just a quick question. Do you play any video games yourself, Jacob?
Yes, I play a lot of video games.
Do you think the like concept of the SGC or like the mission or the room that you worked on, were you inspired by any games when you were designing it?
I can't say that I was specifically inspired by any of the games that I play. There
Mhm.
are a lot of space games that are interesting that
Mhm.
have similar assets to the
Yep.
ones that we use in these rooms. I can't point any out specifically for the ones, but yeah, a lot of it is very similar to other
Mhm.
games, I will say.
Nice. Yeah.
And I can't say that there was no subconscious
Like specific
connections.
one.
Yeah.
It's fine. Do you have anything? Oh, these are cool.
Yeah, so
How-
you have that table there. It has a bunch of little statistics on it, a couple of diagrams and graphics on it. It also has a computer, which is another one of the challenges.
Oh, I see. Whoa. How did you get the images on there? Like what does that code really look like?
So the images are placed onto kind of like a virtual canvas. If you take,
Mhm.
let's just say a whiteboard and you stick it with glue onto a computer screen, and then you take a bunch of little images and then glue those onto the whiteboard. That's all it is with Unity.
See. My goodness. And you can just go through this entire thing.
Yeah, and then if you double click on the terminal, you can open that, and then yeah, that allows
my
you to solve that challenge.
Whoa. Okay, so my eyes, I mean, from the get-go, I was looking at this. What is this?
So that is supposed to kind of be a engine turbine power hub for the station that you're on. Once you solve the challenge, it does turn on and it starts spinning around.
Whoa, that's awesome.
It's not. It's a really cool looking asset. It is somewhat out of place, but it does look very cool, I will say.
Man, is there anything specific in this room that you designed? Like, did you work on the whole room by yourself?
Yes.
Or...
So all the Unity developers, for the most part, work on their room all by themselves.
Wow.
With help from other developers when they need it. But this one, yes, I did do all on my own.
Oh, this is super intense. Oh, is there anything else that you want me to see?
Other than the diagrams and stuff on the wall, there's nothing much else to really explore here. There are 3 challenges in total. It's a very simple room. It's supposed to be for competitors to go ahead and capture the fundamentals of a capture the flag. And that's just about it. It's a very simple room, very beginner room, and yeah.
Man, I have a quick question.
Yes.
So you were talking about the images. You kind of like stuck them on there. It's like pasting to
Mhm.
a whiteboard. What about the hologram?
So the hologram is a 3D object just like anything else. The only difference is that it has a shader applied onto it, which is
Okay.
basically it will change the way that a object looks in the game. It can change how transparent it is, what color it is, the glow, anything like that. So for this one, you just create the object, you create the basic shape with all the holes, then you create the shader that go ahead and adds the holographic effect.
Man, that is so cool. Like in the way it's spinning. Oh, I wish I could see this one spin. But okay, quick question.
Yes.
Was there anything in this room while you were working on it that you were like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is working," or "Oh my goodness, this is much harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yes, the
Okay.
terminal challenge, the one on the computer, that one took a while to create.
Really? Why?
Mainly because I had to recreate some of the basic functionality of an actual computer terminal. It
Okay.
is very simplified, I will say that, but just getting that functionality with the commands and text boxes and outputs all working is not the easiest thing to do.
Man, this is almost a personal story. When I first joined the SGC, if you come to the Cal Poly Tech Park, which is where we are right now, I walked inside and I was looking at everybody working on their code, and it was just lines of letters and numbers, and I was stressed out looking. Like, how do you handle that?
So it is a lot to look at, especially when you're looking at someone else's code. When you're the one who wrote the code, it becomes a lot easier because you know where things are. You're the one who put it there. It's kind of like when you organize a room.
Yeah.
If you are organizing your own room, scissors go here, glue goes here. Someone who comes in though, they're not gonna have any idea. So it is a lot to look at, especially for your first time. But as you build, as you work with it, it becomes more and more natural and kind of like its own little language that you understand.
Yeah, this is like just another random thing. I remember I walked in and one of the Unity students who were working on their own room, and as they were working on it, they were just stuck at this section, and they were like, I don't know what's wrong with it. And I had been there for about an hour with our good friend Kevin, as we mentioned before. He's over there, he's working at the desk, and all of a sudden I just hear, oh my goodness, I think he's like capitalized this, or I missed a space. Is that really all it takes to break the game?
Oh, there are so many things that can
Oh,
break it. Capitalization, missing a semicolon, missing a letter. There are so many things that can break it. And Unity, unfortunately, does not tell you that stuff. It will tell you that you're missing a colon, but it won't tell you where or what you need to add in.
that sounds pretty frustrating.
Yes.
I am kind of shocked that you were able is this like, this is so off topic, but is this like its own block? Like you just placed it, or did you have to can
So the room in game design, we call it modularity.
okay.
So everything is separate. Each wall is its own object. Each chair is its own object. The
Okay.
tables, those are all separate. So basically, say you go to a furniture store, you have the tables in one section, chairs in another. You just have to take the table, take the chairs, and put them together.
Okay. I see. Man, is there anything else that you want to talk about in the Unity room? Anything else you kind of want to tell the competitors back home about their competition style?
Of course. There's not much left to do with this room specifically. Each of the other rooms will follow very similar patterns. They'll all have their own unique
Okay.
challenges, of course. But if you can manage to understand how the pre-qualification room works, you'll have no issue with the other rooms. And other than that, good luck, everyone. I hope that you'll do amazingly.
Well, thank you so much, Jacob, for taking us
course.
through your room. It's really, really awesome. I really appreciate you explaining to everybody who may not know much about Unity or game design how that works, and you were very, very helpful with that. I mean, I learned a lot. I play video games myself. Wait, by the way, what is your favorite video game?
My favorite video game, oh,
I know that is
that's
the
a
be
hard
all end all question.
Honestly, I like a lot of the shooter games, things like Valorant.
Really?
Yeah,
Valorant,
is fun.
yeah.
Yep.
I'm a big Overwatch 2 player,
Okay.
but
Okay.
right now I'm really into Elden Ring. Shout out
Okay,
any
nice.
Elden Ring players out there. But yeah, man, well, thank you so much for being here today, Jacob.
Yeah, of course.
We are going to cut to a short break, but don't just leave. We are going to have a live interview with a friend of ours named Charles Hatch. We are so excited to have them on, and we will see you very, very soon. Goodbye. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. And as promised, we have our live interview with Charles Hachet. So sorry before I said it wrong, but that's okay. He's here. He's so excited to talk with us. So let's start with our first question. Can you introduce yourself as your role? Can you introduce yourself? Tell the people a little bit about who you are and your role as a Unity developer, and what encouraged you to use your talents for the SGC.
Sure, absolutely. So, as you said, my name is Charles Hachet. I am a Unity developer. I teach Unity at the high school level, the university level. I also do tech mentoring for people who are working in the games industry, which is absolutely wonderful. That's kind of my biggest passion, is coming alongside people and helping them to find out the thing that's going to motivate and drive them and help them to success. And so that's been absolutely wonderful for me, working from the high school level all the way up through, I absolutely love it. And so it kind of is a natural fit with this project that you guys are working on as well, because I was reached out to and said, hey, these are some things that we're running
Yeah.
into, some issues that we run into, as we've heard. Game development is not
Exactly.
just
It is
straightforward.
not
There's some
easy.
problems that pop up all over the place, and the only way that you can figure out how to progress forward is by doing it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes by getting a little assistance, is having somebody who's walked the road before with you continue down that road and continue to give you support and
Yeah.
not just solve it for you, but help you to recognize what's gone wrong and then help you to develop solutions that you can use as well.
Yeah, as mentioned before, the SGC is a project made by students for students, and we have like dedicated teams of developers like Jacob, who we just met, who gave us a solid foundation of what Unity was. And they use cybersecurity professionals like Charles over here who kind of help them direct them when there's issues or problems, as we're learning at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I think it's super important that we have educators like Charles in development because we are living in a increasingly digital world, and as it gets more digital, there is a lot more things that younger people in middle school and high school are going to have, or challenges they're going to have to face.
Right.
Is there anything that you like comes to mind where you're like challenges that
I would say the difference between when I went to high school and where we're at today is that everybody has a cell phone now.
Exactly.
And it's not just a cell phone that we use to text message or phone call. We're using it as if it's our computer, and they are just as powerful as computers. But it also means that they're just as vulnerable as a
Exactly.
computer.
Like, I'm certainly guilty of this. I don't carry around my credit card anywhere because I have Apple Pay. So it's like I don't have, I'm just using that all the time, which I'm sure there's a lot of issues with that. So I don't know, maybe I should start carrying it around more. But moving on, in my files about you, Charles, I saw that you have a nickname,
I do have a nickname.
and that nickname is Oz.
It is Oz.
So what's the deal with that?
Right. So this is fun little middle school history for
Oh
us.
my goodness.
This is wonderful. So my father was in the military and we moved around a lot.
Okay.
And just gives you a great opportunity to reinvent yourself each time. And I was like, well, this year I'm gonna go as Oz.
Okay.
Started up fresh, started into a new sort
my
of school
goodness.
district, and my little deep history now. My parents were actually splitting up, and I was with my mom at the time, and so I kind of picked up that as a personal identity for myself, and my teachers recognized that that was something that was helping me to succeed.
Okay.
And so instead of it being a pushback, they adopted it and they
Oh,
allowed me
man.
to kind of make that my persona, and it really helped.
That's awesome.
And then, funny enough, when I transitioned into adulthood, I kind of moved away from it. Yeah, there you go.
Charles Oz. There we go.
As I transitioned to adulthood, I was like, well, I'll go by Charles now, I guess.
Yeah.
But it followed me. And so as much as I tried to push that, it's always been there. So in my developer communities, it's always Oz. In my professional communities, it kind of flip-flops back and forth between being Charles and Oz. So it depends on who I'm talking to, but I'll answer to all those.
Yeah. No, it was so funny, actually. Fun fact, when I was writing the questions for Charles/Oz, I actually went up to our director and I was like, hey, so like Oz, is he like the Wizard of Oz? Like he's the Wizard of Cybersecurity? They're like, no, this is his nickname. And I was like, okay, I'm going to ask about that. I was like, I want to know. That's so interesting.
Not the Wizard of Oz,
Not the
although
Wizard
that
of
has
Oz.
been a fun little nickname that people have picked up on as well. They've said the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, man. So moving on to your other questions, what are the advantages of using Unity for a game like the SGC, especially one that's both educational and competitive?
I would say from a developer side of things, when developing and considering developing a game like this, Unity makes a lot of sense for the fact that we want to be able to deploy it onto as many light platforms as we possibly can.
Right.
So for instance, it runs inside of Google Chrome, which is an exclusive feature to Unity. It's just a
Okay.
nice feature that Unity does support as one of
Didn't
their
know that.
platforms. And then turning around really quickly and being able to do very fast development cycles. So there's a problem and we need to make a change. So how long does it take for you to be able to make that correction and then redeploy it out? And honestly, doesn't take that long at all if
Really?
you're doing it with Unity.
Okay.
There are other platforms that are out there that are just as wonderful and just as powerful that do awesome things in different spaces.
Yeah.
But when you consider the use case, that's where I like to say if you are if you need to put a screw into a piece of wood or something like that, there's lots of tools you can use.
Exactly.
You can use a hammer.
Yeah, you
You
can.
can.
Is it, do
You
you
can-
want to?
Right. So you can use a hammer. You can use a hand screw,
Right.
like a screwdriver, if I can figure the word,
Nah,
or you
don't
can use
worry
a power
about it.
drill. And
Oh,
so it
power drill.
depends, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to get it in really as fast as you possibly can, you can use a hammer. If you need to be very gentle and very precise, you can use a hand screwdriver. And if you need it to be kind of a mixture of the two, then you would use a power drill. Yeah, absolutely. And so what's the situation? Any of those can work. What would work for your best situation? So I think in
Yeah.
this case, because you want those quick development cycles, you want to deploy to you want to deploy your Unity project to WebGL, and you want to be able to have a language that is universally adopted and really easy to work with. And I think C# is a really good programming language for that. You have less of the memory management issues.
Right.
As compared to C++ or some other languages, more extensible than languages like Java or JavaScript. So I think it kind of fits that nice balance.
Yeah, I actually at Cal Poly, I'm not involved in much cybersecurity stuff. I'm actually a communication major.
Oh, wonderful.
So when I joined the SGC team, I learned so much about cybersecurity, and I thought it was so cool because I would speak to the Unity students, and I would, like as stated before, I was with Jacob. I would look at their code and I'd be like, I have no idea what's going on. And they're like, oh, well, actually, it's really simple. And I'm just staring at it. It seems very, very complicated. So we thank you so much for helping us with that to create our wonderful challenge here today. What
Absolutely. Thank you
kind
for having me.
of collaboration happens between Unity developers, artists, writers, and cybersecurity experts during game development?
So this is an interesting question because
Really?
it comes down to what is your use case. So in this
Okay.
case, this one is very specific. We are looking to see why does the Space Grand Challenge need to have cybersecurity? And the answer to that question is that's the focus.
Yeah.
We want students to be able to learn about cybersecurity in a as realistic environment as we can,
Yes.
with a little bit of dramatization, of course.
Yeah.
So what we as developers would look for, or more specifically game designers would be looking for, is what are the things that cybersecurity experts would have on a day-to-day, or these white hat or black hat
Yeah.
hackers, what would they do and what would they experience
Yeah. What
day to
would
day?
their aim be? What's their angle?
Right.
Exactly.
And so when we try to build scenarios that kind of match those as much as possible, we want it to look like what they would experience.
Exactly.
And then also kind of bridge that gap between what their day in their life would look like and what is fun to experience.
Yeah.
And so we knit those things together. So in this case, it's a bit of a twofold piece where you're able to see not just the real life experiences that they would have, but then making sure that it's technically accurate as much as possible.
Yeah, and I think that's a wonderful thing about the Space Grand Challenge, the fact that we're able to introduce middle school and high school students to real world cyber scenarios and kind of get them engaged in a way where they're able to defend their own little virtual world, really. I mean,
Yeah.
we read through the story, which was really, really awesome. And I know I was joking around with our Discord friend Lex all the way over there, but a 0-day exploit, I think that's pretty realistic when it comes to those hacker
Very
sites,
common.
man. And you're open to all sorts of dangerous malware during that time. So it's up to our students to kind of handle that mission pretty well. Were there any visual or interactive elements you designed in Unity that you're especially proud of?
For this project, I did a little bit of assistance with some of the rooms that I call the legacy rooms,
Okay.
which were the older rooms. And visually, no, but technologically, I am a systems designer. So
Okay.
I enjoy finding ways to make things work together.
Okay.
And so I was able to take a look at, for instance, the flag project, which is how you're able to determine whether or not you've successfully completed a mission.
Right.
That project, to me, instead of being scattered out through each one of those individual sections and
Right.
modules and stuff like that, I made it so that it was more of a combined unit. So it's still this one all by itself and this one all by itself, but
Okay.
gave a central location for our future developers to go back in and make some significant changes or some quick changes. So instead of finding where that flag exists inside of the Unity editor,
Right.
they're able to go to a single location, update the flags for all of them, and then just be able to, as long as there's no other problems with it, just recompile and send it back up.
Wow, that sounds like a lot.
It's not tremendous.
Okay.
As far as the scale and scope of work, I was able to use a couple of different techniques, such as a decorator pattern.
All right. Okay.
So a decorator pattern's like you and me, we're separate.
Okay.
We do different things.
Right.
But if we put on a Grand Space Challenge hat,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of the best way that it's described.
Okay.
Both of us are connected in this similar way. And so even though we continue to do different things differently, there are certain pieces that connect us, and that's what that decorator class does.
That's
Is
so
it leaves
cool.
everything exactly the way that it is, and just allows it to adopt new programs that are similar.
That is so neat. I mean, when I think about like kind of what the Unity developers do and what you do, it seems like a lot of trial and error.
It can be.
Have like what's the this is like kind of an off-topic question, but what's like the hardest thing for you when it comes to developing?
I would say the thing that I've become very proficient at, which most people are not proficient at, is learning to adopt new code.
Okay.
Especially when somebody else has created it, you've got to learn what did they do? Why did they do it? What are the different connections that they have? What sort of language did they use? Not just C#, but what sort of language are they using to describe the variables or the
Okay.
functions, and then kind of getting a sense of who they are as an individual helps me to understand, okay, if this is supposed to be connected here and it's not, finding out why that connection's disconnected.
That is so interesting. So it's like every cybersecurity kind of like coder or Unity developer has their own language
Yeah.
and the way that they kind of design their rooms.
Yep.
That is
And
so
not just
cool.
individually. So most companies will have a standard, and they'll say, this is the way we want you to do things. We'll want you to use like lowercase or camel case
Okay.
or a Hungarian style or something like that.
That sounds
And so they have these design style sheets that they want you to follow. And so that's great. But then
Okay.
the individuals will actually create. So, for instance, one of the things that I do for my students is I'll tell them when they're doing Boolean statements, which are true and false statements.
okay. See.
I'll tell them to make it so that it is as if it was a question that you could answer. So instead of saying jump, you'll say can jump or is jump,
Okay.
which would say like can you jump? So can, yes or no, or is you either are or you're
Or you're
not
not.
jumping,
Right.
right? And so or number of cans lets you know that this is a number, whether it's a float or an integer or something like that. So it's one of the easy things that you can learn to do early on is to give yourself a hand and let yourself know what they are, because later on you're going to get super frustrated and try and remember what those things were. And giving yourself a hint helps a lot with that.
Man, that is so interesting. Our next question is, what trends or new Unity features are you excited about right now in the game development world?
Personally, while I'm not absolutely wonderful with art, even though I do have a degree in kind of the art space, is the animations.
Really?
Unity has had a animation suite that they've used.
Okay.
I forget exactly what it's called, but anyways, it allows you to do regular sets of animations, predominantly with 2D, but you can also do it with 3D. And the 3D fun stuff was in a module called Timeline, and that was really
Timeline.
awesome. And now they're moving it so that way you should be able to, and I could have this wrong, so hopefully I don't have this wrong.
Okay.
Hopefully this is why I'm excited about it.
Okay.
They will be allowing you to import things like your animations that come with FBX files, which are
Right.
files that you would export
Okay.
from 3ds Max or Maya or something like that, that include the animations, and should be able to edit those.
That's so cool. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm really excited
Whoa.
about that.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome. Last question. What advice would you give to students trying to get into cybersecurity?
Oh, fail fast.
Really?
Fail fast, fail
Wow.
often, and fail forward. 100%. Understand that failure is not like when you're taking a test, and if you unfortunately don't pass the test, you'd say, oh, that's failure.
Yeah.
In game development and in cybersecurity, failures are success.
I
Failures
see.
let you know what you don't know or what didn't work. So learn to fail fast, fail often, and fail forward.
And there's like ways to kind of like a lot of trial and error, so you're able to kind of correct that at some point. I mean, when I was younger, I wanted to go into game development. Obviously, it's not what I ended up doing because I cannot stand to sit at my computer and do trial and error for so long. It just did not sit right with me. Do you have any like my parents sent me to like, I guess, development like coding camps. Do you have any like websites or like maybe coding websites that kids can kind of
Yeah.
reach out to?
Hacker Rank.
Hacker Rank?
Hacker Rank is absolutely wonderful. It gives you
Okay.
a great way to be able to not just learn the things that are happening, but to learn them in different languages. And then
Mhm.
they also have different challenges that you can utilize if you are a developer who's completing college, for instance, or getting ready to go to college, and you want to be able to go into the real world after that. These are the types of challenges that they will actually give you when you are wanting to apply for a software development job. And to say on that, a developer is not just somebody who codes the game or designs the game.
Okay.
You're a developer as well because you're
Okay.
helping to spread the knowledge
Oh
about
my gosh.
what's happening in this
I have
project.
completed my dream, guys. Little Maddie is so excited. I have always wanted to do like development stuff. I mean, I love video games. You had mentioned that you had worked with a bunch of them. So,
Yep.
it's super, super fun. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Charles. We
you.
appreciate it.
I hope
And
you all have a lot of fun.
yes, we are so excited to see what you guys do, and we hope you complete your mission. We're going to cut to a short break, and we're going to cut to a recorded interview with a good friend of ours, Jacob Oakley. Jacob Oakley I apologize. Jacob Oakley is a leading expert in offensive cybersecurity, cyber warfare, and space system security, with nearly 2 decades of experience advising the Department of Defense and Fortune 500 companies. Jacob also serves on the IEEE Space System Cybersecurity Standards Working Group and teaches cutting-edge courses in Embry-Riddle and Black Hat. Let's see what he has to say to us this year. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Space Grand Challenge. My name is Madeline Hott, and I am your broadcaster for the SGC. And today I'll be interviewing Jacob Oakley. Hello, Jacob. How's your day today? Are you good?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We are wonderful. So, first thing I want to ask is I want you to introduce yourself and tell everyone all the wonderful things that you do.
I don't know about wonderful. So my name's Jacob Oakley. I'm currently technical director at 6Gen. I'm also the space lead for the Aerospace Village. You may have seen at DEF CON, and steering committee member for the IEEE effort on space system cybersecurity, as well as adjunct faculty at Embry-Riddle, where I write and teach space cyber courses.
Wow, that is really, really interesting. Could you share your journey into cybersecurity and how your interest in satellites and space security began?
My interest started when I was told that that's what I should be interested in by the Marine Corps when I joined.
Okay.
I was always kind of a gamer and a bit of a computer nerd in high school. But when I joined the Marine Corps, I got put in a job role where I was responsible for networking and computers, as well as setting up satellite dishes uh, to begin SATCOM and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I got my start.
Man, so you're saying that you were in the Marine Corps, which I'm assuming influenced a lot of your career path, but how has that influenced like the future projects that you've worked on?
As far as future projects, I don't know too much terribly. I mean, I did spend a lot of time in the offensive security industry, which was kind of beneficial based on a lot of the experience I had while I was in the Marine Corps. And I've stayed in a kind of defense contractor role, so trying to support, you know, people that are in the military and things like that through my cyber work.
I want to give our viewers like a little bit of an inside look. So your work intersects with satellites and cybersecurity, which is a super fun combination. But like for people like me and maybe people who aren't too versed in cybersecurity, could you explain how these two areas connect with each other a little bit?
Sure, I think possibly something a lot of people take for granted is just how much their everyday lives depend on things in space. The hyper accurate timing we get from space is used in everything from encryption to communications to stock trading and bank systems and the GPS in your cars. But as far as the intersection with space, pretty much everything in satellites nowadays, due to software definition and digitization, is they're designed on computers, they're developed and tested using computers, and computers control pretty much every aspect of those space systems. So it's kind of a natural convergence.
That is really, really interesting. I have like had constant situations with my like computer where I've been like upset about the service or like things not uploading fast enough, but I can imagine how difficult it could be to kind of operate that, something that I would never understand, but I want to know, what are your primary cybersecurity concerns related to those satellite systems?
Well, I think first of all, there's a really big concern with defense in depth, which is a pretty traditional paradigm for security, right? Is having defense in layers, but for space systems, that's really hard to do past the ground station. So everything in space is kind of free game if you can get through that last layer of the ground station. The other thing would be, really, space systems are one of the few things that if they were compromised by a malicious actor, like, they could actually be stolen, right? And you would never get that back. So if your computer gets hacked, you can reinstall your operating system. It's still your computer. If your satellite gets hacked, it's potentially, no longer yours, which is unique to space cyber.
I don't know if this is like an out of the world question, but like, how often would you say that happens? Does that happen often, or does that happen like every once in a while? I've never heard about this. This is so cool. I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm unaware of it currently happening. There's very few reported incidents of cyber compromise against space systems in general. But I think it's a really important thing to think about because of how they're designed and operate. That's a possibility.
That sounds so stressful. I mean, Kevin and I have understood that you've written a book, The Cybersecurity for Space, a guide to foundations and challenges. What inspired you to take on this challenge, and what message do you hope that readers take away from it when they read it?
Yeah, so initially, when I first started getting involved in the space industry as a offensive cyber person, it was also about the same year that the team I was on with a company called 6Gen at the time, we won the DEF CON IoT CTF, and I was really terrified at how similar a lot of the stuff we were hacking at DEF CON looked to a lot of the things in satellites, and that there was a complete lack of materials on the topic in general. So I kind of wanted to at least put my thoughts on paper, because I think there's also like a distinct need for interest from both sides, from the space side and the cybersecurity side, to get involved together.
In your book, do you have a favorite topic that you talk about, or something that you like really, really enjoy discussing in it?
I think honestly, one of the things I really enjoy talking about is how different the cost benefit of security is for space systems, and that's because of the theft aspect, right? That, hey, you need to think
Right.
about doing these things not just to protect them from being compromised, but to protect them from being like no longer yours. But also that because so much is software defined in a satellite, normally if you're worried about getting hacked, it's because of what you have, right? They're going to try to steal this thing because it's valuable to them. But in
Right.
space systems, they could be trying to compromise it because of what they could turn it into, based on reconfiguring it.
That sounds terrifying. Oh my gosh. I could not imagine doing that. I would stress me out too much. But what skills or experiences would you recommend for someone interested in cybersecurity or space systems?
Yeah, I mean, for one, in academia, there's so many, colleges that have both cyber or comp sci as well as aerospace and engineering programs. And a lot of them have, projects where I think it would be really useful if you wanted to be a cybersecurity person in the aerospace industry, is just to start involving yourself in maybe some of their projects, or if a university has a CubeSat program, try to learn more about what's going on there. As far as being a professional, you can always try to seek experience and jobs at organizations that are involved in aerospace. And then there's also starting to be a bigger presence of conferences that are specific to that niche that I think people could attend. Or you could volunteer at organizations like IEEE or the Aerospace Village, where we're trying to kind of bring awareness to those topics.
I understand that there's like conventions for cybersecurity innovations like DEF CON. Do you have any other convention recommendations that these students could possibly go to?
So there's a couple for Space Cyber. There's one called Hack Space Con that takes place in Florida at the Space Center there. There's the Space ISAC has their Value of Space conference in Colorado Springs, and then the CySat is one that's in the DC area. Also, those are the three main ones that I know off the top of my head right now.
Perfect. What excites you the most about the future of cybersecurity? And it doesn't necessarily have to be about satellites if you don't want it to be.
I think probably it's specifically exciting for space cyber, but also exciting for cybersecurity in general, and that's just what the impacts are going to be as AI and quantum technologies mature and how they're going to shape the requirements for what cybersecurity has to be and what it means.
Last but not least, your final question. What advice would you give to young professionals, like the ones participating in the Space Grand Challenge, who want to explore niche areas of cybersecurity like yours?
I think the most important thing with cybersecurity is to kind of have that hacker mentality, right? You need to stay curious and you need to stay hungry to learn about these topics because the industry advances so quickly. If it's not something that interests you, it's going to be a difficult job to be successful at.
All right. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us, Jacob. We really appreciate your time. I'm going to give it back to the broadcast, and we would love to talk to you another time. Bye, Jacob.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. And as promised, I'm here with another live interview. And next to me is my good friend, Owen Marcioni. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, and kind of talk about what you do for SDC development?
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, thanks for having me, Maddie. And I'm on the AWS team here at CCI. So what that means is I'm pretty much working on all of everything behind the scenes for the game, whether it's the web servers or any of the code that makes these games run. That's what I'm working on.
Okay, man.
And I'm a third-year computer engineering major at Cal Poly, so I've really enjoyed the chance to be able to involve myself in something as cool as this and get some experience too.
Yeah, I think it's super, super important that we kind of include our Cal Poly students. Like, I'm a Cal Poly student. Owen's a Cal Poly student. Our friend Lex is a Cal Poly student. Our friend Jacob.
Pretty much everyone here
Yeah,
is.
everybody here. We are all here to kind of help students learn about gaming and kind of like, cybersecurity in itself. So we really appreciate you using your talents to like make this platform possible.
Yeah.
But moving on from that, can you like walk us through the development process of like kind of what goes on building into like a game like this?
Yeah.
Like this?
So the first thing we do is kind of Henry and Rob. They're the ones. They have all the big ideas. So they tell us like Henry's like, this is my vision. This is what I want to see. This is what I want these kids to be able to learn and how they're going to learn it like in these ways. So then we're on the AWS team. I work with the people that are on the Unity team.
Right.
So the ones building the 3D games that Jacob showed a minute ago. I work with them to make sure that everything that you find in there and all the servers that are running those games all work well.
Right.
So first Henry and Rob tell us what they want done. And then we kind of just work to implement that. And there's a lot of testing that goes into it. We've pretty much been finished creating new things for the past month or two now.
Right.
We've just been working on...
It
fell down.
It's okay.
We've just been working on testing for the past
that.
month. So there's definitely a lot that goes into it, but it's really cool to see the whole process on a scale that's like larger than what you do in class.
Yeah. Would you say that this job is preparing you for your future in cyber development or whatever kind of development that you want to go into?
Yeah, I'd say definitely. Like, I didn't know much about cybersecurity before I came here, but through working with all the people here, I've learned a good amount, and I do find it pretty interesting. So it's definitely something I would consider going into in the future. And yeah, being able to talk about this position in like interviews and at career fairs has definitely helped me a lot in my search for jobs this summer and then after school too.
Yeah, and I'm sure Owen would agree with me as well as many of my other friends in here. Cal Poly is great at kind of offering students the opportunity to work in real professional jobs to give them the skills to, after they graduate, to approach whatever profession they want to take into. And maybe they'll find something, or the internship that they choose will end up being one of their lifelong careers if they enjoy it enough. But moving on from that, what are some of the biggest technical challenges you faced while creating the SGC like game platform?
Yeah, okay. So I joined the CCI team here in January of this year. So I've been here for about 3 months now, maybe a little bit longer, 3.5 months. And when I first joined, they kind of just threw me into all of it. Like, they were like, all right, you're going to be working on this.
Yeah,
what I was
we
working
need
on.
you.
So that was kind of a big jump for me, just trying to learn how everything works and then also learn like everyone's name at the same time.
Right.
So, and learn how all the code works was kind of a challenge at first, but I've definitely learned a lot now. And so what I've been working on during my time here mainly is it's called Amazon AppStream. So it's pretty much a way that you can connect to a computer in a different part of the country. In this case, it's in North Virginia.
Okay.
You can connect to that computer just from your like Chrome tab. You just open up a new tab and you can connect to like a whole new computer. So what we've done is we've taken these computers and we've taken this computer and we've hidden like clues on it,
Okay.
such as like maybe like a bad hacker would do. So this to simulate kind of if you were a cybersecurity like analyst, how
Yeah.
you would look through these hackers' computers or like traces
And
to
their
see if they left
code.
it. Yeah, to see if they left anything that might be
Yeah.
like hints. So we left these hints on the computer for the students playing SGC to look for, and that's kind of what I've been working on, just making sure that all works.
It's super, super interesting. When you said like, oh, like you're connecting to a computer, what was it? What was the?
It's called Amazon AppStream, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you connect to a computer in a different part
Yeah.
of the
Is
world.
that like? I'm looking for the word. I feel like. You know how people, for everybody who is not like a cybersecurity professional, there's like a way that you can switch countries for specific like
Oh, like
streaming
a
services?
VPN.
Like a VPN. Is that similar to what it is?
Kind
or
of, but
am
not
I?
really. It's a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So kind of similar.
It's like that, but it's like added on. Like there is a VPN working there,
Okay.
but yeah, for
Yeah.
different reasons.
That's
Mostly to
cool.
keep you secure.
Man. Okay. Moving on from that, what's one? This is my favorite question, by the way. What's one behind the scenes moment during development that made you go, "Whoa, is this actually working?"
So yeah, building on what I kind of just said, definitely the part that once all my code had kind of started to work, and then once you could finally, so the goal was that players of the game would just be able to, there will be a little button on the website, and they can just click that button and they can connect to this computer just
Right.
on their Chrome tab,
Okay.
and they will be able to see all of the hints and all the clues that we've left on it. And so once that kind of worked, once you could just click the button and then it would open up a new window without giving like 300 errors and your screen going black.
And everything's
red
not,
text
and nothing's
everywhere.
working. Yeah.
So pretty much just all that working seamlessly. That was kind of like the moment where I was like, oh, whoa, like this actually did
Yeah.
work. And that was obviously after like long hours working and
Yeah.
lots of help from everyone here.
Man,
So
I'm sure that was so relieving just to
Yeah.
be like, okay. It's one of
And-
those things where it finally works and you're like, don't touch it, don't touch it, don't
yeah,
touch it.
that's exactly how it worked. Once it was working, I've left it alone since then. So
I don't want to be anywhere near it, man. How do you go about designing scenarios or missions? What does that creative process look like? So when Henry and Rob are like, this is what I want it to look like, how do
Yeah.
you go about kind of designing your creative process from
Yeah.
there?
Okay, so like I was saying, we try to simulate what like a bad actor or like a hacker would like
Yeah.
actually do to leave clues similar to what that would be.
Mhm.
So like some of the clues we left on the AppStream instance, I don't want to give away too much for the players.
Yeah, exactly.
But we just used it like a normal computer. Like we logged in a few times, maybe we logged in wrong a few times. We looked stuff up on the internet, like we used like the browser as a normal person would, look stuff up, maybe looked up some secret stuff,
yeah.
downloaded some files, just used it like a normal computer, trying to simulate like the most accurate as we could, the way that a hacker might actually use this
Man.
computer,
So
and maybe make a few mistakes along the way that people could catch.
yeah, and like kind of just like leave little clues, little hints of like somebody was here, but the students will still have to obviously like look and analyze exactly what's wrong with what they're looking at, or
Yeah.
the topics. Yeah, that's really, really cool. Is there like, I don't know, this is so silly, but have you ever seen Ocean's 8?
No, I don't
Oh
think so.
my goodness. Well, I
At least not for
know
a long time.
there is a lot of people out there who has probably seen Ocean's 8. I'm like, it's basically like a, like a bunch of people, all the Ocean's movie, they're like, they're hijacking, or
Yeah,
they're trying to
I've seen
steal
like
something.
one of them.
Yeah, my immediate thought is like the hacker character. There's always that hacker character, and you see them like.
Yeah, they type really fast on the computer. Nah, that's not
I'm
super
in.
accurate. But if you're good, maybe.
yeah,
if you can type
maybe.
that
It's
fast.
like,
I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Maybe
You're like
Ryan might be.
pretending- that's
Ryan's
what
pretty fast. That's how I
Really?
feel when I watch him. You'll talk to him later.
Okay, well, we'll talk to Ryan later. You're hyping up our homie Ryan.
Yeah, he's fast.
Okay, he's fast. We'll make sure to bring that up, and we'll tell him that Owen told us that you're fast. Okay.
Tell him that I say when I watch Ryan work, it seems like he's hacking stuff like in the movies.
Okay.
He's just
It
typing
seems
on
like
there
the-
fast. I don't know what's going on.
Exactly like the movies. They made the movies based off Ryan.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So our last question.
Yeah.
The SGC is created by Cal Poly students such as yourself and all of our support staffs behind us. What is it like working on such a big project as a student?
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot, like I said, it's a lot different from what I might work on in class. In class, I'm working on at most maybe like a group project with one other or two other people. So it's pretty easy just to, if I see that they made a mistake or if I'm confused about something, I can just like go up to them, hey, like in class, hey, like what'd you do here? What does this do? But working on a project with a team as big as we have here is definitely a lot different.
Yeah.
And I think in a good way. it's definitely harder because I don't know every single aspect of the project. Like I've never touched some of the code and I don't know
Exactly.
what some of it does. So it's sometimes a struggle to be able to find the person that did this and what is this doing here? Like help me understand what's going on, especially if they're not like available that day. But it's really cool and it's taught me a lot about how like programming and programs on a larger scale like this
Yeah.
kind of work in the real world compared to just in class. So that's definitely something that I'll be taking with me in the future to like jobs or internships.
Yeah, and I think Cal Poly is wonderful at that. I mean, we have our wonderful motto. Do you know it?
Yeah, learn by
doing. You got to learn by doing. And look at us, Owen, myself, and all our support staff are behind us are learning by doing. They're working on a major project using their skills that they've learned at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, putting them to the test as we learn. So we're going to wrap it up for right now. And we're going to cut to a short break where we are going to have breakfast for about 15 minutes. But
I'm
before we
ready.
go, I want to say thank you to our friend Owen.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and we appreciate you watching the broadcast, and we will get back to you very, very soon. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you guys had a wonderful breakfast. And as promised, we are back with another live interview. As I said, we're going to have a lot of expert insights. And next to me, I have my good friend, Ryan Madison. How are you, Ryan? You having a good day?
Well. Everything's going great so far.
Oh,
off to a
that's
great start.
perfect. Okay, well, I have a lot of questions for you. So let's start with obviously a basic one. You work at the DX Hub at Cal Poly. Can you tell our viewers a little bit more about what that means and what do you do?
Yeah, so DX Hub stands for Digital Transformation Hub, and I have the best job in the world, I think, that I could have, which is we take problems from the public sector. This might be government, cities, public health organizations that have a problem that data could solve and technology could solve. And they bring them to us, and I get to work with students and faculty to build a prototype solution. And in the last year and a half, most of these have been AI-centric solutions. So we're doing cutting-edge work with students and AI and data to solve problems for organizations that probably don't have a really deep technical bench, right? We're giving them a solution they couldn't build otherwise, and we're helping them get a foot into the new world of AI.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned AI, Ryan, because if you don't know, Cal Poly has, and a bunch of other colleges have actually started to implement AI into their teaching. Can you tell us a little bit on where you think you might see that going in the future?
Oh, that we could take the whole time just talking about that, I guess. But there is definitely a number of big initiatives right now. There's so much interest in AI,
Right.
And in the Cal State University system, of which Cal Poly is a part. There's a big initiative right now. So we're going to be hosting a summer camp in July for
Oh.
college students. But
Okay.
really, I think we should start with what are the problems we want to solve. And then find the right technologies to solve them.
Okay.
And AI is a great technology, but I would say if people start with the problem and then they follow that to a solution, that's probably the best thing to do.
Okay.
There's a lot of buzz about AI. If you
Yeah.
just walk around with AI and try to solve problems, you might get in trouble. You might do something that doesn't
Exactly.
make sense.
There's definitely a lot of classes that still does not allow AI, but it's been interesting since they have passed that kind of rule. I've started to see AI implemented in a lot more of my classes, which seems pretty interesting. So I'm excited to see where that takes us in the future, and I'm sure you are very excited as well. You mentioned a camp.
Yes. So at the DX Hub, one of the things we do is we put on events for the public and for other universities. And so the summer camp is our inaugural AI summer camp.
Right.
This will be open to CSU, Cal State University students.
Okay.
So those of you out there in high school, maybe in a year or two. But we are also looking at doing events for high schools and other school organizations, community colleges. So we would love to hear from some of you if you have interest in this.
Yeah.
And we'll follow up with opportunities as they become available.
Of course. Yeah, that sounds really interesting. So if you guys have any interest in this type of field, I think you guys should definitely apply.
Yeah.
for the
Or if you
camp
have an
that Ryan's
interesting
running.
problem, dxhub, hub.calpoly.edu, and you can find us there, read about what we've been doing, and also submit any challenges you'd like us to work on.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, well, moving on from that, what's your take on the Space Grand Challenge and how it fits into the broader cybersecurity education landscape?
All right. Well, I will just start by saying I recognize there's a bit of a generational gap now. Like I used to be the young guy. I started college when I was very young,
Okay.
but now I'm the old guy in the room. So I would say there's so many great ways to learn now. And I see the Space Grand Challenge as fitting a couple of needs with security. One is security is about creativity.
Right.
Right? It's about thinking differently, thinking outside the box, seeing if you can make something.
Development.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Make something behave in a way it wasn't designed to. So it's creativity and also curiosity, right? People who are really good at the security stuff, it's often because they dive really deep. They just can't let go. They find a good problem and they want to solve it. And so to me, the Space Grand Challenge brings all those concepts together. It's educational, but it's also fun. And you play it by being curious, by exploring, by thinking a little bit out of the box.
No, I think it's super interesting because I was actually talking to our good friend Charles a little bit earlier, and they gave great insight on how education for younger individuals in kind of cybersecurity and just the internet in general is super important right now because we are growing in a ever digital world, and it's super important that we teach, younger students how to be safe online, and even those who are older, to be honest. We got to be prepared.
Yeah, outside of Cal Poly, I've worked as an expert witness doing forensic analysis, like some of our game players will be doing today. And so oftentimes I'm the one that's called in when something's gone wrong.
Okay.
Right? When somebody's committed a crime allegedly, or perhaps in fact, or done something anything that people can do, any misbehavior can be done online as well. And so I've seen a whole range of what can go wrong. So it is very important. But I think the good news is following some basic principles that we're all kind of learning as we go. Learn the principles like privacy. Don't share your data unless you need to. The details will always change, and that to me is another great aspect of the game. Is every year we update it to bring in new risks, new stories. But learning the principles is key, and then applying those in your everyday life. And we will continue to be a resource to help people understand some of those details, understand best practice, and really be as safe as possible. There's nothing risk-free. The internet is not risk-free, but it's a great resource, and if we use it responsibly, then we can get great use out of it.
That is really, really awesome. Well, aside from that, we could go into what do you wish someone had told you when you were just getting started in tech and cybersecurity? Yeah. For our students out there.
Well, so that was many years ago, and most people were not on the internet yet.
Okay.
Right? So when I started, I had a sense of what if all the cool stuff already happened, right? And that sounds so silly to say now, right? 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
All the cool stuff has happened since then, right? But there's this curve in technology. So what I wish somebody had told me is don't feel like you have to focus on just one thing.
Yeah.
In life, in security, in technology, because how you will learn and grow and be successful is following those curiosities that you have.
Yeah.
Right? Pick something that's interesting to you and learn deeply enough that you understand how it really works.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that'll serve you well in your schooling, in cybersecurity education, and in your life. So just be open to opportunities and follow the opportunities when they arise. You won't be able to predict what's going to happen over the next 20 years, right? So just follow the opportunities.
Yeah, innovation is very real. We're always growing. I mean, I think AI kind of proves that. AI has made leaps and bounds. A lot of other technological kind of like jumps the past few years has definitely, grew. I think that, students really shouldn't be afraid to fail as much. I think they should, embrace failure as just, it's part of life.
Yeah.
Learning experiences.
We were thinking as we prepare for the summer camp, like, what is an important mindset to bring into working on a project of the type that we work on here? And for us, a lot of it is if it's a project that we're 100% sure we can do, it's probably not a project we should be working on.
Okay.
Right? If it's too easy, we shouldn't be spending time on that.
If the hypothesis, if we already know the hypothesis is right, why?
Yeah, because we are all about helping prove that something new is possible or feasible or not.
Okay.
Right. And so I would say, really just having that appetite for uncertainty, that, I don't know, the eagerness to fail, but the eagerness to try something where you might fail.
Yeah.
And if you're never failing, you're probably not working on really hard, interesting problems.
Yeah, and I think that's super important, especially for college students. I think as we get older, and as a college student myself, we think that only, in a way, like only children are entitled to failure. Like because we're adults, we're not able to make those type of mistakes, because at that point we should know the answers. And I think it's important to kind of breathe a little bit, and this camp can certainly help you kind of hone your skills if you're looking for a field in that area. So
Yeah. Well, and I would just say, we have had a couple hiccups this morning on the game.
Yes.
And to me, that is, we're sorry if you were affected or if you were frustrated. What does learning feel like? Frustration. But to me, it's gone well because we have a team here, right?
Yeah.
So when I think about, maybe I messed something up, like we are all here as a team to work together to make this game go well. And to me, the success is we have had some things that didn't go perfectly, but the team really quickly came together and huddled and figured out what was going on and came up with the solution. So, I guess the other advice is don't feel like you're alone in this. Find your community. There's a community out there that can help you learn and grow and support you, and help you take those risks in a way that you're not failing, you're learning. And you're getting support to do that.
That wants and desires your skills in the future.
Yeah. So that's what we're about here at Cal Poly at the DX Hub at the CCI is, we all take failure together and we learn and move on from that.
Yeah. How do you think competitions like the Space Grand Challenge help prepare the next generation of cyber professionals?
Yeah. There are so many good learning resources out there now. The problem isn't so much finding good resources, it's focusing on ones that are the most relevant for you. And so to me, the Space Grand Challenge is special because it fills this niche, right? It is targeted at middle school and high school. It is very technically accurate. We strive to do that, but it's also designed first to be a fun game, right? There's fun games, there's cybersecurity exercises. There's not a lot of things.
You got to kind of combine them. I see that.
And that's what we really think about a lot is how do we balance those two things? Because we want both of those things. It's got to be fun and you've got to learn. And if you do both of those things together, then we've done our job.
Yeah, you want to make the game super engaging, but you also want to make sure that the students are able to hone their own cybersecurity skills in the process. Hopefully able to kind of improve their coding and whatever they're seeking. I think the SGC, correct me if I'm wrong, but is unique from other competitions. I don't think there's a lot of competitions like it that are able to kind of offer students, especially of this age group, the opportunity to compete in a scale like virtual world like this.
I feel like it's, we try and make it very friendly to start. There's plenty of hard challenges out there. If you're ready, when you all are ready to move on, there's games that are harder. If you come to Cal Poly, you'll be exposed to many of those opportunities. But I think just making it fun first. Yeah. Learning should be fun.
Exactly.
I found it in my life.
What's something about your job or career that still makes you geek out or feel excited after all these years?
Yeah. To me, there's two sides of a coin when you're working with computer software. One is I get to build new things that didn't exist, and I get to give them to customers. And they can often tell me, oh, that's exactly what I was hoping for, right? I didn't imagine we could build something that works so well, right? So I get to have that experience of building something and seeing the look on somebody's face when I solved a problem that they really care about. Like I built some software that's going to help make their life better or their, the people they serve in the public sector. And I love that. Yeah. Also in security, we like figuring things out and breaking stuff.
Yes.
How can I take something that I've built or somebody else has and make it behave not in the way it was supposed to, right? How can I find a vulnerability? So some of the most fond memories I have working with teams and with customers is I would be hired to go in and see if I could break something. Like, can you act like an attacker and get into this? And that is a very fun mindset to be in. It's
like
something
test defenses a little bit?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, testing. And so, we, as a security person, many of us are shifting our brains back and forth between building something new and building protective measures, protecting something, but then also putting on the bad guy hat and seeing if you can break something. And they're both very fun. And when you can do both of them together, it's just a great combination.
Yeah. Speaking of the bad guy hat, our friend, if you guys were here, Owen, who is over there working right now, our support staff,
He's not a bad guy.
No, not him. You.
I'm the bad guy.
He was saying you were the bad guy. I was saying that I think it was really interesting that, obviously a lot of cybersecurity developers that you have, or you kind of manage over, which are our support staff back there, have to kind of, basically try to break stuff in order to kind of make the room. They have to think like a hacker. What would the hacker do? What would they leave? And I mentioned Ocean's 8 where they have like, or any type of like Buster movie where they have like the hacker, and what I'm imagining is some girl or some guy and they're like, I'm in, and Owen says that you can type really fast. What are your thoughts on that?
Let's see. In 5th grade, my family did not own a computer. Most families didn't have computers when I was growing up. It wasn't as common. And in 6th grade, the summer before 6th grade, we got a computer. I spent the entire summer after 5th grade just learning inside and out that computer and learning to type more quickly. And then in 6th grade, I was the fastest typist in the school district. So I went from like 0 to hero in that one summer. And that summer had a big impact on me, right? That just being able to immerse myself in that. And I guess my fingers are just wired in my brain to move the way I think now. So, but really it's experience. Like Owen, has joined us very recently. And some of the features that are core to the game, he built just like a couple months ago. So I've been doing this for many decades, right? So the fast fingers are earned through tens of thousands of hours of work. But like you all here, you all are moving very quickly. In many cases, I learn from students, right? The students are learning new things and moving so quickly. Like, again, none of us get to be an expert anymore. It's too complicated. The world's too big now. So I like to teach and help and speed things up. I also like to learn from all of you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, our last question is, what advice would you give students trying to get into cybersecurity?
Trying to get into cybersecurity.
Or
There's
any
so
type
much
of coding
demand.
thing.
I would guess just get used to learning. Figure out how you learn and support yourself. Give yourself opportunities to learn in that way, because you will never be static in cybersecurity. Everything's always changing.
Always moving.
You always want to kind of push ahead. Oftentimes, you're helping people understand something new. So, I guess my advice would be get really good at communicating with people about risks. People that may not know all the details like you do. Right? So get good at explaining things in simple terms that will serve you well throughout life. And really just, find something and see if you can break it. But make sure, I'm going to add to that, make sure you're following the law. Make sure you're practicing
Be
good ethics.
ethical, everyone.
And so what would this look like is, write your own little web app and then see if you can put on the hacker hat and see if you can break the thing that you just built. That is how a lot of the learning happens.
Perfect. All right. Well, that was a lot of good information. Thank you so much, Ryan, for joining us
much.
today.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, we had a wonderful time. We're going to cut to a short break, but do not leave just yet because our next activity is going to be so much fun. We're bringing on a Badge Life professional, Zachary Peterson. We're going to discuss his innovations in Nerd Life. Or Nerd Flair. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone, to the SGC. And if you're just tuning in, my name is Madeline Hott, and I am your broadcaster for today's wonderful event. And I am so excited for this next activity that we have for you. These on our table, my friends, are called badges. And I know what you're thinking. When you think of a badge, you're probably thinking of, I don't know, a card with a name on it, or maybe just something with a barcode on it, but not in the world of cybersecurity. No. Badges are anything but ordinary here. They're a thriving subculture. They are collected at countless cons, like conventions, like Cactus Con and DEF Con and Space Con San Antonio. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that's exactly how you say that, but maybe not. But next to us, on my right, I have my good friend, Zachary Peterson, somebody who truly lives and breathes this stuff. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you.
Man, are you excited to talk about Badge Life?
I'm very excited. I'm actually relatively new to Badge Life, as it's known on the
on the internet?
Yeah.
Everywhere? Yeah. I know we briefly, for our SGC viewers, discussed this in the introduction with our good friend Henry, which you also are very familiar with, Henry, but this is our good friend Zach, and he's going to talk a little bit more about that. But can you explain exactly what badges are?
Sure. Yeah. So what we're really talking about is making art with printed circuit boards.
Okay.
So printed circuit boards are, in anything electronic, whether it's analog or digital, whether it's, in your iPhone or your, guitar amplifier, there's some element of moving electricity around to make the thing work. And kind of recent advances in printed circuit board technology and manufacturing technology have led to the ability to do interesting shapes and interesting colors,
Right.
And the fact that they can light up or do kind of electronic magic, turn them into art. Yeah. So what you're seeing here is the first badge that Cal Poly students have made as part of a club that we're calling Nerd Flare.
Exactly.
Cal Poly,
And-
yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, that's like actually my first question and probably only question before you kind of take over. So you are part of a community at Cal Poly called Nerd Flare. Him and Henry are both a part of that. Can you tell us a little bit about that and kind of what inspired?
Sure. Yeah, actually, and Ryan too. Ryan's the one who came up with the name. I have been to a couple DEF CONs.
Okay.
So I actually think Badge Life started as part of a DEF CON, subculture where instead of wearing like a name tag or getting some sort of like wristband to control admission, they would give you a printed circuit board as part of your entry fee.
I'm not 100% sure about this, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. I actually read about DEF CON a little bit when I was learning about badges, and I've heard that there's something called a DEF CON black badge.
Right. I'm only kind of vaguely aware of this. It's like the super secret, very elite
they said
badge.
it's like you get awarded it if you win certain competitions, and it's like you can enter indefinitely. Like you can just go to the con.
I think that's
forever.
right. Yeah.
So cool.
So everyone gets like a normal human badge.
Yeah, a regular badge.
Yeah. And then there are, let's see here, goon badges. There are speaker badges. Yeah, there's the infamous black badge. But in addition to, every year there's, more and more complexity. There's usually some sort of game element associated with every badge. Sometimes you need to, connect it to a computer to hack on it a little bit. Sometimes you need to actually have the badges interact with one another as part of the game. And so when I was sent to DEF CON as part of a work job and I saw this, I was immediately like, oh, this is super cool.
Yeah, I need to get involved in this
immediately.
now, today.
And I knew that Cal Poly students, and given our kind of learn by doing philosophy, would glom onto it
super
immediately.
appreciate it.
So I just sent out a flyer saying Henry, Ryan, and I are going to try doing this. Who's in?
Yeah.
And we had a huge number of students show up. There was tremendous interest. And throughout the year, we've built a number of kind of some complex badges. This is kind of the one that we built as a club, as a team. This one's really interesting. It was the goal was to build something that we could give away to alumni at the open house alumni wine and beer garden, and we did. And we were able to give one to Mayor Stewart, Erica Stewart, the mayor of San Luis Obispo. We gave one to President Jeffrey Armstrong, who actually wanted one for his wife as well. So I felt like we had a good success
that's really
there.
good.
I do want to talk a little bit about the technology here.
Yes, of course.
So you can kind of see we've got the Cal Poly shield, and it's the LEDs are animating. There's a little button on the back that actually change the animation styles. The other things, the reason yours is not changing is because we also programmed them that if they hear another badge, they will start to animate a little bit more. So
really?
Yours and I both see, so we each see one.
Yeah.
And if I turn on a third one here, we should see two lights now show up.
I see that.
Yeah, and so we scaled this up. I think we made about 65 badges.
Whoa.
As you can imagine, they really start to dance.
Oh my gosh.
After a while. So that was a fun effort. We hand built 65 of these.
How many students do you have working on that?
Well, not enough, really.
Okay.
No, we had probably 10, 15 students.
Whoa,
We had kind of, quite an assembly line going. I also wanted to show off some of the smaller badges. So this is kind of what we consider like a full-fledged badge. There are smaller, more artistic badges that are called SAOs. That's stands for silly add-on. And
Yes.
we don't need to go into the terminology there. But so here is a collection. I'm trying not to get too much light here. This way, maybe. of SAOs that students have made. So we've got, let's see, from like learn by woohooing. We've got kind of a Nope, like a Obama Hope poster with a salad cat. We've got, let's see here, I think this is Wings of Fire.
Yeah, it's a huge dragon. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I've kind of got an LCD sound system, Dance Yourself Clean, a Planned Parenthood badge. I've got a One Piece. There's like a Kobe Bryant badge down here. So these were all designed and made by Cal Poly students and faculty. So you can kind of see, like, you can do some pretty remarkable artistic things and also like have them be computers.
Yeah.
So these are mostly just kind of doing animation. Badges have incredible complexity, though. Like, you can have, displays. You can have them, talk to each other wirelessly or physically. There's kind of an infinite number of opportunities to do kind of cool learn by doing things.
Yeah.
So that was the impetus of kind of creating a club around, making these PCB art.
Yeah, those look awesome. Oh, is that the Kobe symbol?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm in love.
One of our students, Pranav, did that.
Oh my gosh. So all of your students, creativity, they had full free reign on what they wanted to make.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah. In fact, so for students that are, a couple of students that are watching, we will be having a PCB art design and kind of not necessarily manufacture, but how do we go from the art to actually laying out a printed circuit board? We'll be doing a tutorial on May 4th.
Okay. May the 4th be with you.
Okay. I guess someone had to say it. Yes. So we'll be doing a tutorial 12 to 4. Look for the Nerd Flare Cal Poly on Instagram. I think it's Nerd Flare Slow. It'll go out there, and then kind of look for other flyers around campus.
Yeah. Man, so anything else about these?
Yeah, let's see. So this is one I think that was designed by Henry and a local badge maker, Carrie, goes by Alpenglow Industries. This is for the aerospace village at DEF CON. It also does kind of some blinky here, little dim maybe, but it's a beautiful badge that looks like a satellite.
Yeah.
So one of the fun things that's I think an interesting aspect of badge life is that you don't have infinite colors. It's not like painting. You're kind of restricted to a certain subset of materials, gold or silver, black and blue. So you can kind of see there's like some similarities in the color palettes. I actually think that's part of the interesting aspect of badge life is that constraints actually I think makes more creativity.
Yeah.
So here's another kind of example. This one is not by me. This was done DEF CON 27, I think. This is really interesting. It's both a interesting shape, but it's also a game. It's like a maze game. So I mean, you can kind of see here.
Oh,
if you touch, they got these capacitive.
Oh, you can whoa.
Yeah. So you tap the silver or the
silver.
Yeah, like there.
Oh, I see.
Or the gold. Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is so neat.
So there's like a maze game that you can play on this. I think you can connect with your computer and play it that way. There's just such tremendous variety and ability for artistic expression. It's like the real sweet spot for me between like doing things that are artistic and doing things with engineering.
Yeah, so you don't collect badges, but our friend Henry collects so many badges. In fact, I know for a fact that he has a wall of them in his house. Could you give us a little insight on maybe what's the big deal? What's the big deal about badges?
I mean, does he need mental health help or something? No, I'm just joking. No. They are. I mean, they are very addictive, and it's fun to make them. It's fun to collect them. Just like anyone would collect art or baseball cards or exactly. Plus, the fact that they kind of do stuff and you can interact with them only adds to the appeal. So yeah, he's got a couple really spectacular examples. He's
Yep.
got
The Daft Punk one.
the big freaking badge,
Yeah.
which is about the size of this table.
It's so huge. And then he has some that will like play games, like a little Nintendo DS.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
to
I
me.
think the DEF CON participant badge last year was like a full-on playable like NES emulator.
That is crazy. I can't even imagine. I mean, when I was writing the kind of like, or researching Badge Life to kind of, interview Zach and, talk about it in general, I found so many conventions that offer like a lot of badges and like badge tech, and they have like competitions for people to like submit
Yes.
their badges and be like, this is my big thing, like everybody come look. It's
That's
so
right.
cool.
Now there's actually just like conferences on badges, like SuperCon down in Pasadena really focuses on makers, and one of the ways that they do that is through like a badge competition, and so they'll give you like a base badge, and then by the end of the conference, it's like who's done the coolest thing with the base badge, or who's done the one that's like least manufacturable. So it's just like
Okay.
the most bonkers badge you can imagine. So.
Man.
It's really delightful. There's a really supportive community online. So if you've never done this before, it's really easy to pick up. And like I said, we went from knowing kind of nothing about how to do this to having like a full board of really individual, interesting looking pieces of art.
And especially if you're like interested in Badge Life in general and you're a Cal Poly student, or maybe you're a student that's playing our game right now, we seriously encourage you, if you decide to come to Cal Poly or you're already here, to check out Nerd Flare.
Yes, please do.
They are willing to teach you from, ground one, basically.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. From knowing nothing to like having a full-on working circuit board, and we're actually working towards getting maybe our own manufacturing abilities here on campus. So this is kind of a first step to drawing some more attention to computing at Cal Poly, the Noyce School of Applied Computing, which actually helps sponsor the manufacture of these badges. So yeah, shout out to the Noyce School. Definitely. It's such a cool space to be. And the other thing that's kind of fun is that we've got computer scientists, software engineers, electrical engineers. We've got those that are from the art space, those that are doing graphic design. It's such a really interesting mix of people and talents. And it's my favorite part about being at Cal Poly is just like interacting with super creative, interesting students across a wide variety of disciplines.
Yeah, it's certainly engaging, fun, and it allows for a lot of innovation, which I think Cal Poly stands for by a lot. Learn by doing is our motto.
Yeah,
here. Thank you so much, Zach.
A pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it. We love all the cool stuff that you came to show us. Right now, we are going to cut to a short break, but during that break, we're going to go to a recorded interview with our good friend Jacob Oakley with our good friend Gerald Auger for our next pre-recorded video. The CEO of Simply Cyber, a sponsor of ours, and a passionate leader in cybersecurity education and awareness. Through Simply Cyber, he empowers thousands of aspiring professionals with resources to break into and grow within the cybersecurity field. Let's hear what wonderful stories he has to share with us this year.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and open it up. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself, talk about what you do, and we'll get this started.
So, my name's Gerald Auger. I have basically worked in cybersecurity 20 years, InfoSec, when it first came on. And I actually graduated with a computer science degree, computer science master's, and was on a technical track, software engineer. And my code got audited for our FISMA compliance, and I failed miserably because my requirements didn't have security things into them. So I got fascinated. I was actually kind of pissed that I got a bad grade or whatever you want to call it. So I was getting into it to see what all it was about, and it kind of unlocked. I'm like, oh man, this is cool, all this security stuff. So I started talking to professionals in the industry, and they were telling me about vulnerability scanners and hacking tools and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, how is this all there? And I basically pivoted from that. I did some system administration stuff, and then I went in fully into a career in in GRC, which is kind of what I'm known for. It's where I focus, all the way up to building my own programs, like CISO role type stuff. And so I've worked in industry 20 years, and then on the side, maybe 5 years ago, people always ask, oh, how do I break into cybersecurity? Or, oh, it's a lot of fun. Like, what do I do? Especially on GRC, because GRC doesn't get a lot of love. And, I'd answer their questions and stuff. And then I was like, oh man, like, Kevin asked me a question. I spend 15 minutes answering Kevin because I want to be helpful. And then right behind Kevin is like Tyler, and Tyler asked the same exact question. I'm like, So around 2019, I was like, oh, it's a good idea. Like, I'll just make a video answering the question. And then anytime someone asks me, I'm going to send them the link and say, oh, I got a video for that. If you watch it and still have questions, come back to me. And that cut down on like 99% of the time consumption. So I was still helping same amount of people, but I was not committing as much time. So I call it mentoring at scale. And I just rinsed and repeated that. And then 5 years later, still got, basically, I'm self-employed now. So I have like consulting practice, but then I also make content on cybersecurity and have a community associated with it and stuff. And it's just, it's a lot of fun just kind of being all up in the space. But honestly, I love cybersecurity and I love learning and I love helping people. So it's really a perfect situation for me at this point.
In terms of cybersecurity, how would you state like the current state, if that makes sense? So how would you describe the current state of cybersecurity?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting question. One really, really exciting thing about cybersecurity, and it's a double-edged sword because you might love it or you might hate it, but it's a constantly moving, very dynamic environment and industry. We're essentially, worried about threat actors. Okay, so like we have to worry about hurricanes and floods, and we have to worry about somebody putting a server underneath an air conditioner that leaks. Like we have those problems, but like 80% of what we're worried about are cyber criminals and nation state threat actors. Compromising our system, stealing our data, doing ransomware and stuff like that. So it's a constantly shifting element. Now, as far as like the current state of things, there's a bunch going on. So right now, threat actors are really, really into ransomware. Ransomware has been around since like 2017. Mainstream, WannaCry blew it up, and it's been going, and it continues to make lots and lots of money. And unfortunately for us as Americans, Eastern European actors are basically can set up infrastructures in Eastern Europe, and they don't, because they're attacking, United States and kind of Western democratic countries. There's like less risk for them to have law enforcement kick in their door because the law enforcement over where they are currently residing is more focused on other things, and it will never really elevate. So it's called bulletproof hosting. So this like persistent, deeply rooted threat is constantly barraging us. So like that's the main thing that we should really worry about. But then as we see this kind of coagulation and decentralization of global supply chain and global economies, essentially like NATO and BRICS starting to form, we are starting to see a bit more nation state threat actor action. So like with Russia and Ukraine, there's a lot going on there. But one really important thing for people to realize is that there's only one internet, right? So it's not like there's like a military internet and then or like battle space, and then there's like the internet where we buy yoga mats on Amazon.com. Like it's all one space. So if you can get hit by a stray bullet essentially anywhere on the internet because it's one internet and it's incredibly hostile. So we do have to be mindful of that. I will say though, for better or worse, a lot of the more really, really nasty malware, that's like, weapons grade malware, the operators will typically try to refine it to be able to kind of not precision hit a target, but not really get out of control. And I'll give you two examples just to make it clear. Like Russia in I want to say 2020, 2019 maybe. They wrote a piece of software called NotPetya. It was essentially a wiper virus. It gets on a system and it just wipes the entire operating system, all the data. Very, very destructive. And they wrote it, and the first thing that it did when it detonates on a box, the very first thing it does is look at what language the keyboard's in. And if it's in any language other than Cyrillic, it doesn't do anything. So like there's no way it could detonate in the United States, for example, or Canada or Germany or Australia. So that's like one way to like kind of have a precision. Another really interesting example is the WannaCry ransomware variant that kind of launched 1,000 ships. If you Google WannaCry, you'll find all the information. But essentially, North Korea did it. And there's a security researcher by the name of Marcus Hudgens who actually kind of unpacked WannaCry. So with software and malware, you can unpack it and actually like look at the insides of it, kind of think of like popping the hood on a car. And there was a kill switch right in the front, right? Like right at the top. And it was like some, long, completely random domain name. So not like simply cyber.io, but something like, abcdefghijk12345 6.com. And if that website, if that domain name was up, WannaCry would completely self implode. And Marcus found this and he registered that domain, and actually he's the reason that WannaCry stopped. And now, other researchers probably would have found it eventually, but this is just another mechanism that like clearly was implemented. So I would assume if this thing kind of like detonated inside North Korea, they could quickly disable it. So there's just a little bit more sophistication and heightened tensions with these type of things. Another really interesting thing that I think is interesting is there's a decentralization of skill within the cyber criminal ecosystem, if you will. So really quick, back in the day, like let's think like the 90s, right? Like I want to hack Cal Poly. So like I'm going to do all the research on Cal Poly. Then I'm going to find out how to get in. And then I'm going to detonate my malware or do something funny, like maybe change the like an LED screen to like say something like Jerry was here or whatever. I do the entire sequence. Well, now in 2025, there's specialists, right? So there's people who are called initial access brokers, and they just go and get access. And like, as soon as they can, like, I steal your credentials, Kevin, to Cal Poly. As soon as I can log into your email, I log out and I confirm it as a known good. And then I go onto the dark web and I sell, hey, I've got access to Cal Poly. Anybody want it? So there's that. Then there's ransomware actors. There's ransomware as a service models where like I will host the infrastructure and handle the Bitcoin exchange. All you have to do is go out and infect people and I'll handle the rest. So this decentralization unfortunately allows people to specialize and become more experts in the one thing that they're really good at. And then they go to the market and essentially pair up, kind of the way like a general contractor might get a carpenter and a plumber and an electrician. You're not going to have someone who's an expert in all those trades. You would assemble essentially like a team and then use them for each of their skills. So we've got our work cut out for us on the cybersecurity space because the threat actors are certainly well-funded and very, very hungry to get after it.
No, that's super interesting. You talked about a lot of great points. Ransomware just being one of the main ones because it's been historically around since the internet, right? Like WannaCry is one of the
ransomware.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean ransomware had some early variants back in the day, but WannaCry, for better or worse, it was like such a mainstream story that a lot of people who were criminally incentivized or criminally moral compass is broken and they would be into crime. It put it on their radar and they're like, oh geez, this seems like something we could get money for. This is cool, let's go.
You've actually been a sponsor of the Space Grand Challenge before. You've had your name on the sponsorship. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, I think the Space Grand Challenge is very cool. Having an immersive experience, like let's be real. Like in 2025, reading like a textbook is boring. Like no one wants to read a textbook. Everybody's got this like, for lack of a better word, we've been trained to have like shorter attention spans. Engagement's like super important. In fact, like some people are arguing that like attention's the new currency. Like if you can get someone's attention, that's super valuable. So for Space Grand Challenge to have such an innovative and novel way of capturing someone in a non-sleazy way, right? It's not like, like there's a, super grand prize for you, so you're going to grind because there's some personal incentive. It's like truly a fun, interesting, engaging experience. And then on top of that, at least the way I was seeing it, like you can share it with others, you can engage with others. And it's just, I don't know. I just really enjoy the vibe, I guess. You know what I mean? So technically speaking, it executes well and it delivers value to the individuals who are competing and engaging with the platform and with the content, but then it's got cool vibes, right? Like, so for me, like this is like, I never thought like a pink light would make sense in my space, but like I love retro synthwave. I think this is a cool vibe. So Space Grand Challenge has that vibes for me.
No, that is nice. And then looking forward, last question. What is one piece of advice you would give to someone like the students participating in the Space Grand Challenge that just want to start out in cybersecurity?
Yeah, so I will tell you, if you try to like, the number one thing that you can possibly do is connect and network. And I know that might sound really awkward and cringy. Like, I'm not saying like go to a random conference by yourself and just like awkwardly walk up to people and be like, hello. But like, think about it. Like, if you are, I'm a faculty at the Citadel Military College too. I teach in the cyber sciences department. And I tell my students all the time, like, like take advantage of opportunities. Like I am in this room and I'm committed to you for 50 minutes every time I'm here. Like take advantage. And a lot of them don't take advantage of it. But like think about this. Like your faculty, right? You might be like, oh, it's just a teacher, right? This isn't high school though. Chances are your faculty is either active professional, former professional, or engaged in some type of like academic, federal grant money, research type thing. So you probably don't really have much other than like your studies. Maybe you do some independent labs and stuff like that. But if you go and demonstrate initiative and proactivity, engage with your faculty and be like, hey, like, are you working on any projects that you could use an intern for? Or can I just shadow you? I would love to know more about what you're doing, right? You're going to get like pulled into their, essentially like their peloton, their slipstream, and you will be engaging. And then you have to be genuine and authentic. You can't just like muscle them for, network connections. But once you get into there, now they are kind of representing you, right? So you never know. Here's the thing. Here's the number one thing. You want to be somebody that a person would talk about when you're not in the room in a positive way, right? So like when you and I are here and then like I go to some meeting somewhere else with some other people and they're like, oh, do you know anyone? I'm like, yeah, Kevin's like awesome at that, right? So you want that. And it just doesn't come by being enrolled in the class. You have to manifest it and you have to like put in the effort. That's what I would say. Honestly, I said it a little bit earlier, like cybersecurity is a hard industry to work in. It's very demanding and you just have to be like into lifelong learning and work. And it's there's no cruise control, right? I mean, you have some days that are slow, but like for the most part, if you're not like investing in yourself on the regular, which is why you have to stay current every single day, you will basically fade. So, and when you're in junior in the career, you don't have a lot of space to fade to because you haven't really kind of grown up yet. So that's what I would say. Networking is super important and relationships are super important. You never know who's watching, frankly.
Yeah, no, that's super. They always tell you that, right? It's like connect. Like you gotta connect. So no, I do agree with that. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. It was great to talk to you, Gerald. And yeah, looking forward to showcasing your interview on the Space Grand Challenge in April, last weekend of April. I'm pretty sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to. Let me know. And, good luck to all the competitors and everybody who's involved. I know it's a lot of work to put it on. So I appreciate Cal Poly and I appreciate you, Kevin.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Take care. Have a good one.
All right. Cheers.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the SGC. My name's Maddie, and we are back with the password game as promised. But before we get to that, I want to introduce you to my lovely friend on the right. This is my friend Rob. Rob, can you introduce yourself to everybody? Tell everyone what you do at the CCI and for the SGC.
Hello, Cosmic Cybernauts. Hope you all are having such a great time today playing this game. Like Maddie said, my name is Robert Randall. I am the technical project coordinator here at the CCI, so I manage the student teams. We have the AWS team, Unity team, Discord team, and awesome esports team. So yeah, I just manage the teams, make sure that our projects get done so we make Space Grand Challenge happen for all of you. Again, we're super excited to have you join us today. And today we're talking about passwords and the importance of passwords.
The importance of passwords. We use passwords all the time. We use passwords for our banks, our accounts, our Google accounts, our emails, and even our college campuses, man. I use my password to log every time into my Canvas or into my Cal Poly portal. Shout out all my Cal Poly students. The dual mobile isn't fun, but it's necessary. And that's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit before we get into our game, the importance of protecting your passwords. I know Amazon is trying to sell you that book that is made to keep all your passwords in it so that you can never lose another password again. But that is a total scam. Don't do it. Make sure your passwords are safe. Do you have anything to say about passwords?
I think, a former student of mine said, Rob, I use a passphrase instead of like a simple password. So you can just say, Rob likes to go to shop for audio equipment. And then you can just throw some numbers at the end and symbols as well. So uppercase, lowercase, definitely important. But passphrases usually help us if you don't have a password manager to strengthen your password. As long as you see that green checkmark box, if they have a password strength checker on the website,
strong password, weak password. Yes. Just make sure that you keep them safe, and most importantly to yourself, because if somebody gets a hold of them, they are kind of able to take over your entire life, especially with how digital everything is getting in our world. But with that, we are going to start with our password game. So
all right,
let's make our password. Please choose a password. What's our word going to be?
Let's go space.
Space. Perfect.
The final frontier.
Okay, our password, as stated before, needs to include a number. What number do we want to do?
How about 26?
26. Okay, we go 26. Oh, and our password must include an uppercase letter. We already got that. Your password must include a special character. Let's do a exclamation point. We're excited.
Woohoo!
The digits in your password must add up to 25. So get rid of these numbers. Or we could just do 6 plus 2 is 8. And then we can go up from there. Do you want to do, and our password's gone. Oh my goodness.
We can type it back in.
Yeah, we can, of course. Go 20, I think we did 24, and then we did this one, or we did 26. My apologies. Do 26. We could
add
do
a bunch of some more.
We could do 2. We could go 5 and 5, and then we go 5. Perfect. Now your password must include a month of the year.
How about 12?
12? No. Like the actual month, April. Or like July.
Sorry, I was thinking digits. I was still hooked on digits.
Yeah, it's stuck there. We could do April. There we go. Your password must include a Roman numeral. Let's do 5.
All right.
We could do.
Look at that.
Shell. The Roman numerals in your password should multiply to 35. Okay. Do you know the Roman numeral for 7? I think it's
VII.
VII. There we go. Now our password must include a CAPTCHA.
Interesting.
So we do
that one's kind of sort of legible.
To BY7, but because we included the CAPTCHA, now the digits in our password do not add up to 25, so we have to edit it. So we keep the 7 and the 2. We could get rid of one of our 2s. That's still 10.
This is getting intense.
It is, isn't it? It always does. We could go. Okay, so this is 10. 10 plus 7 is 17. 17 plus 5 is 22. So we could get rid of this. Oh my gosh, it's getting so intense. Yeah, it's starting to. There, perfect. I did it. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. Your password must include today's Wordle. So we're going to play today's Wordle. So what word do we want to start with?
How about QWERTY?
What?
QWERTY, like the first.
No. Wait, is that a word? Am I tripping?
Let's see if that'll work.
Is that a word?
QWERTY. No.
What about cyber?
There you go.
There we go. Oh. We have a hat. Okay, cyber. So
put it on this guy right here.
How perfect is that? So our word has the C in the right spot. So our word starts with a C and it's 5 letters. Okay, so what other words do we have? We could do
man.
Chain? No, chain? No, chain.
Oh.
Okay, that was a good one.
Okay. So
okay.
C-A.
So there's a C and there's an A here, and then the H is in either of these two positions. So what
Okay.
word do we think? Cat? No. I think like
Claim?
no, because there still has to be an H.
Oh. Wow. This game is. Need to play this game a little bit more, I think.
Clutch. Oh my gosh. My goodness. I like what? Okay, you have you have CL. Not many other things that come after C with words. So it probably is CL. Coach? Ooh. Oh, close. Okay.
Okay.
So C X A X H. Oh my goodness. Could be anything.
Wow. This is an intense game for sure.
Yeah.
You definitely need your thinking cap on for this one.
I mean, we got to have a secure password, and what's more secure than this?
Wow.
Could be
Oh, no.
anything.
We lost a hat.
You
How
know
about,
what this reminds me of? Clash of Clans.
Look at that. High five. Thank you for our lifeline in the room.
Yeah, Clash. So we add Clash to the password. Oh, was it not?
oh,
Oh, I
H.
spelled it wrong. My bad.
All good.
Clash to the password. Now the Roman numerals in your password should multiply it to 35. So that's wrong. So we have to take away these two because it recognizes C. What's the Roman numeral for C? It equals 100. How do I repair this? Do I have to do lowercase? Oh my goodness. We at the standstill.
Wow.
To multiply to 35, we should be good. Your password, okay. Must include a Roman numeral and it must multiply to 35. So we can keep the 5. We could go, here we go.
This
Or is it
intense.
Isn't it?
I don't know if I'll ever remember that password though.
Well, by the end of it, we may just have to if we're able to finish the game.
It will be ingrained in our memory, I think.
By the end of it, we may just have to. Your password must include the current phase of the moon. Obviously, I searched it up because I am so prepared. I think it's this one. Is it? It's not?
That
What's the
looks like
current phase of the moon?
That's a new moon. Let's look at the lunar.
Yeah, what's the lunar calendar? What is the new phase of the moon today? It's the waning crescent for those who don't know, which is, I think it's this one.
Looks like it's that one up top there.
This one?
Yeah, that one. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's waxing.
Yeah, I think it's this one. Let's see. Are we right?
I forgot my glasses today.
Are we right? No, you may be right. Our password is going to be super secure because I won't even remember it by the time we're finished with it. By the time we're finished with it, it's going to be the most secure password on planet Earth.
Someone gets a cookie if they can hack this password for sure.
For sure. I mean, we've gone through a lot of the segments, I think. I wonder if I can just take this one. Here we go. Let's try this. Perfect.
Oh.
Okay,
wow,
now we have to name this country.
Let's look around, see if there's any clues. I think this is really cool how they did this.
Yeah, isn't it cool? I also think the game is like pretty awesome about this stuff. Whoop, and we're gone. What the heck? Oh, there we are.
Internet streaming.
Yeah. What language do we
Techno,
think this is?
Electronics. I mean, that's universal. Fresh and cool.
Guana? Oh, maybe?
If they had a country code, I could tell.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how they program this and they're able to kind of like
Actually, go back to that one screen where you had the phone number.
the phone number up here.
Guangzhou. Try Ghana.
Is it? Do you know how to spell it?
Ghana.
Ghana. Oh no. Could be anywhere.
Wow, they're really like sending you across the globe with this one.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
Which is interesting because people from across the globe can still hack you.
Really?
Which is mostly the case.
We could try Africa, maybe?
Yeah.
No? It's not giving me that one. I wonder if there's anywhere else we can go. Ooh.
231. Let's look up that country code. 231.
231.
Let's be resourceful.
231 country code? Liberia?
I think it might be Liberia. Let's see here.
Liberia?
Oh,
Boom! Okay, nailed it.
we are cooking.
Okay, the Roman numerals. Oh my goodness. Okay, we have to go lowercase l, Liberia. Oh, and that fixed our number. Now it's time for the chess notation.
Okay.
Let's see where we're going to go with this. So already it thinks that we have one listed. So we have to find where that is. And we have to take these, Control C, copy them over here, get rid of this. Perfect. And that one thinks they're A2. Where can I put these where it will not trigger?
One day I'll be a chess champion.
One day?
One day.
Is that your dream?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Play like Kasparov.
I am not amazing at chess. My dad has taught me a few things. So we're white.
You're better than me.
And we have to try and check the king, which, to be honest, guys, I'm going to be very real to the broadcast. I am the worst when it comes to the end game. I'm okay in the beginning, but as it comes to like down to it, my brother, I love him to death, but he'll just try to stalemate me because he knows that I'll just run around and not be able to complete the end game. But I am confident that I'll be able to figure this out.
Okay.
Either
I believe in you.
I know. Like I'm thinking it's queen, because for those who don't know, for those who don't play chess, you can move the horses or the knights in L shapes. So if the king were to go here, our horse could take. If the king were to go here, our rook could take. And if I were to move my queen here, but how would I be able to? Oh, maybe I move my horse here. Okay, if I move,
I trust you.
do you? If I move the knight here, which is an L shape, then that checks the king. And then the king, if he moves here, would get checked by the knight. If he moves here, he'd get checked by the rook. But if he moves here, he doesn't get checked by anybody. So maybe I move the queen instead. We may have to call a lifeline for this one.
Let's do a lifeline real quick.
It's either the queen. Trust me, guys. It's either the queen or the knight, or I may be completely wrong, but I think I'm right. Like, I feel like I was running through chess a little bit, preparing for this moment. Clearly it didn't really help that much because I'm still struggling, but it makes sense to me here that it's either the queen or the knight. That's my final answer. What do we think, Lifeline?
Lifeline, talk to us.
Do we think? Nope. That is not it. We may be at a standstill here. This may be the end of our password if we can't figure this out.
Do we put that there or that at the end?
It can be at the end, because if it's at the end, the way that chess works in chess notation, if I were to go A2, it'll think it's a move.
Oh, gotcha.
Because you're moving to A2.
Gotcha.
So each, for those who don't know, for those who don't play chess, each like character has a icon. So it's like for the queen, it'd be Q. For the knight, it's N. For the king, it's K. For the rook, it's R. So it'd be like, if I wanted to move my rook, I'd have to go rook, like, well, we don't have a rook, but if I wanted to move my knight, I'd have to go knight, move like C5. So it's like, it would go this way. And what would hit here. Anyways, but maybe. This may be it.
I think they might have stumped us here. We'll give it one more try.
Maybe? One more?
Let's see. How's our lifeline doing?
Perhaps. I'm telling you, it's the queen. I think it's the queen. Maybe? We'll see. No, I think it's done.
Okay.
I think it's their password.
Well, that looks like a good password to me.
I mean, it has all your requirements. It has the numbers. Well, it's not exactly a phrase, but it does have the numbers. It has capitalization. It has punctuation. It has so many things. This country.
One day we'll figure that out for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we did actually.
We
but,
did. We
you know.
did actually figure it out. And I think we did a really, really good job. And I challenge you all at home to try this game because it's like, I mean,
fun.
we barely got through it, but it's probably maybe like 60 different prompts. And by the end of it, you have to try to memorize and type out the entire password. But if you mess up, then the game ends. It's super, super fun. I encourage you to try it.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun exercise.
Yeah.
To do, so at least once.
Exactly. But exercise your mind. All about innovation here. Protect your passwords. Make strong passwords. Make sure that they're.
I think that's
together.
the main message we want to try to send to you all. Just make
Yeah.
sure that you have a password. It's strong. You can remember it if you don't use a password manager to manage all that stuff, so you can keep it safe, encrypted as well. So just it's definitely the guard dog to your data.
Yeah, because unlike other types of platforms, passwords can generally be hacked from anywhere. They can be hacked from any country. Do you have any suggestions about ways to avoid that?
Well, definitely make sure you have your firewall on. Make sure that you're not hopping on public Wi-Fi, right? And guest Wi-Fi as minimal as possible. You can use what's called a Tor browser. I'll throw that name out there so you can browse securely as well to keep your browsing secure. But those are some of the ways you can use to safeguard your data, and just be just think about what you're doing. Does this make sense? If you have any kind of like red flags that go off in your mind, like I'm unsure. If you're unsure, don't do it.
Yeah.
Right?
If you're unsure, it's better to ask. If you're getting like certain phishing emails or emails, especially emails that are with urgency, oftentimes scammers that are trying to get a hold of your passwords will send emails or messages that are like, I just purchased, or we're confirming a purchase of like $1,000 item. So it causes you to panic and you respond to them because you don't want to confirm that purchase, or you don't want to allow that to happen when really it's not. It's a scam all along. So make sure you're being safe and checking where the sender is coming from. If it's from a safe email, if it's a person make sure to call them and go, hey, do you know anything about this? Just do your due diligence on the internet because it's easy to fool people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much. We are going to cut to a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be on a broadcast with one of our Unity students, Brennan Andres. We are so excited to talk to him, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you.
See you, everyone. Be safe.
Welcome back, everyone, to the SGC, to the last segment of our first half of the broadcast. And for our last segment, we have a very special individual next to me. This is my good friend, Brennan. So, Brennan, can you tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you do for the SGC development?
Yeah. All right. So, I'm Brennan Andrus. I'm a second-year computer science student here at Cal Poly. And for the SGC, I'm a Unity developer. So, that's helping to create the 3D worlds, making the games that all the challengers are playing today. And yeah.
Man, that's super interesting. So we actually, if you remember, you were here earlier in the broadcast, we had a conversation with our good friend Jacob, who is back there, one of our support staff, and he took us through his Unity room. Can you tell us a little bit about the room that you designed and how that looks, what that's like?
Yeah, so the room I designed was the clean room. So the inspiration for that was all the clean rooms that many of like the CubeSats are designed in. It was like this laboratory setting because the idea of the clean room is that you don't want like all the dust particles getting on your.
Okay, that's super interesting.
You don't want dust getting into here because that'll start messing things up.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that was the room I worked on. So just different challenges revolving around like construction of like CubeSats and how they're being used in like space networks and stuff.
That's super awesome. And as talked about with our friend Henry and a couple of other of our information, we have this CubeSat right here, a great example. And yeah, I totally get that. I mean, I play video games, and for any of the people at home that are watching that play video games, and I don't know if you play any video games, do you, Brennan?
Yeah, I play some.
Yeah. I built my gaming PC, and I remember my cousin, who was a IT guy, was so mad at me because he was like, you can't have dust all over your motherboard. What are you doing? I was like, I don't know, man. I'm just a nobody fiddling with wires. Okay. I was getting yelled at, but it's so interesting that you mentioned that you worked on that laboratory room. Speaking of that room, what part of the game are you most proud of and why?
Yeah, so I think the part of the room I'm most proud of is just like making all like the UIs and stuff like look all nice. Like, I think the main thing I worked on there is getting like our computers in the game. So so when you go to work on a challenge, it'll zoom you into a computer in the game that you can kind of work on. So that's probably that's the part I had the most problems with, but it's also the part I was most proud of.
Really? Okay, so I was talking to our friend, I think it may have been Owen that was actually bringing it up and was saying that that's like a pretty difficult process to kind of, oh, look at him, he turned around. You want to wave to the camera, Owen? Heard his name. I'm talking to him about how he kind of had a little bit of a problem with that too, that like kind of putting the computers on the computer is a little difficult. Can you kind of explain why that is?
Yeah, so if you see like some of the older rooms, you'll see that like the UIs, kind of like when you like open a menu in a game, it's just there like in the front. So then inside those game engines, it's harder to make it so that instead of just drawing it over everything else, you have to draw it like as like an image within the scene. It's like how Jacob was talking about earlier, where like you have like an image, so you just have like your canvas in the screen. Yeah. And on that canvas, you just have to paint, instead of painting the UI up in front, you paint the UI to that canvas.
Man, that sounds pretty difficult. I mean, I'm struggling to build my PC. I didn't actually, fun fact about that story, I'm going to go back to it. I never ended up doing it. I sent a photo of me doing it to my cousin, and he was like, and you're going to get dust all over your motherboard. And he drove over, and I sat there and supervised him as he built the whole thing. Shout out my cousin. I appreciate it. My PC works great, and it has been for years. Our next question, can you describe a moment where everything finally clicked in your project and the game started to feel complete? Yeah, so I would say that moment was when I got all the lighting in my room to get rendered out nicely. Before I had like the way I had the lighting set up, some of the lights were flickering and it just didn't look as nice. But then once I got that figured out, it really like just brought everything to life, where it made it kind of look like all like the high quality games you see with the nice reflections and like bounce lighting on everything, where you can kind of see that the light's really there in the room. Man, so you had mentioned that you are a second-year Cal Poly student, which is super, super cool that you're able to kind of work on such a big project like this. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this like not your first job, but like your first job that's like this? It's my first job in like this kind of like in this space of like gaming. So would you say that you're prepared, like this organization has prepared you to complete the like mission or quote unquote activities that you've been assigned to do? Yeah, for sure. I think one of the great parts of like the CCI is that they help us not only just work on the thing, but also to learn the skills we would need. Exactly. Both for working on the project that you see here, and then also the skills we would need out in the industry. Yeah, that's super, super interesting. Do you think any previous knowledge from either classes or prior knowledge from growing up helped in contributing to the SGC or this project as a whole? Yeah, for sure. Like growing up, I did a lot of like creating artwork, making small games. You have games like Minecraft, you're there like building all the worlds and wait, tell us a little bit more about that. Like what have you built? Like what's something that like you can just recall off the top of your head? I don't know. I remember like playing with my brother, just like building, like I remember doing like these challenges, just try to like build whatever like houses or pixel arts or whatever just in the game. Yeah, just letting your creativity run wild. Yeah. If you have like any young children, any parents watching, like little kids, I like super recommend Minecraft. It's really, really innovative, just like fun to kind of let your imagination go free there. Anyways, anything else, like any classes or other games? Yeah, just like the computer science classes I've taken here. There's the art classes I've taken here that have also helped me just making sure all the assets that are in the room all look nice. Yeah. Man, like I don't really think about that. I feel like if I mean, obviously I'm not a Unity developer. I think I'd be a terrible Unity developer. I think I get so frustrated, like listening to you guys sit there and work and then be like, oh, I added a space. And that's why I would go crazy. I'm not doing that. But it sounds so cool when you guys do it. I never even think about the fact, I feel like if I were to do it, I'd just be worried that everything worked. Not everything looked cohesive and like kind of pretty. Like I never even considered that. But you mentioning the laboratory and how you were concerned about the lighting and the circumstances. Oh, and it has to look like there's no dust in the room and it's super clean. That sounds like pretty difficult. How long did that design process take? I'm not sure. Yeah, because like kind of like what you were talking about, there's all the like you need to get that functionality down first.
And then once you have that functionality, then it's kind of just doing like those small things, like placing different like in the cleaning room, just different CubeSats out on the tables and stuff. So like finding those assets, making them look nice in the game, and making it kind of look like it's just the real space that you're in.
Like a real area, a real place where the mission is held, and where like students can kind of walk around and venture through. Can you share a specific bug or glitch from development that gave you a headache or a laugh?
Yeah, so like I don't know if it gave me a laugh.
Okay, but it gave you a headache for sure.
Yeah, because on those computers, I had problems with the in-game computers making them show up in multiple places.
Right.
Just like the way the software worked, I needed to do a workaround to get one of them there. So then when multiple of them were there, I'm like, I don't know where the problem is.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot with programming, where it's like you'll get a problem, and the errors you get, it's not obvious where they're coming from. So you just have to like check a bunch of different things, which I tried, and I tried a bunch of different things. I wasn't able to get it to work.
Man.
But luckily we had Oz here, so I was able to meet with him, and Oz was able to help me fix that issue.
Man, yeah, we actually talked to Oz earlier, and they were a great asset. They were telling us how wonderful the Unity development team is, and how they're able to kind of like take steps to solve their own problems. So that he's always there to help, and I'm really glad that you had a great experience with him. That sounds really awesome. Last question I have for you is that the SGC is created by Cal Poly students such as yourself and our wonderful support team. What is it like working on such a big project as a student?
I think it's just awesome that we got an opportunity to work on something this big. Where it's like we have like these, and I know the CCI has more of these too. You know, like the DX Hub, I think Ryan mentioned that earlier. Where it's just these great opportunities to work on like large things with that. So work with like other students and also other professionals too.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting because, you know, obviously Cal Poly motto, learn by doing, and that's exactly what we're doing right here. It's really nice that Cal Poly is able to offer such interactive jobs that honestly, like, it really feels like this is a professional job. Like, we are doing a job. You are taking the things that you were learning in college and you were performing them, you were applying them, and people are playing your game. How do you feel about that?
That's awesome. It's like to be able to have your creations played by an audience, viewed by an audience. I think that's always the most rewarding part of making things like that.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you so much, Brennan. We appreciate all your insight, and thank you so much for all that you do at the SGC and the Unity team. With that is going to be the end of the first half of our broadcast, but don't be too sad, guys. I know we're so sad, but don't be too sad. We are going to be back at 4:15 p.m. PST, so make sure you tune in around then to talk about scores and the closing ceremony. 4:15. Yeah, 4:15.
4 o'clock?
4 o'clock? 4 o'clock. I'm sorry. My side is wrong. We're going to be back at 4 o'clock to talk about closing ceremonies and score testing. Thank you so much, Brennan. See, you're not just helping with Unity team, you're helping with esports team as well. Perfect. We're all here.
Everyone's working together.
Exactly. Thank you so much. We will see you later. Bye. Welcome back, everyone, to the Space Grand Challenge broadcast, and I am so excited to have you back. I hope you all had a wonderful break. Hopefully you got some lunch. I know I did. The SGC provided us with some wonderful pizza for myself and all of our support staff. It was delicious. And next to me, I have somebody on my right of the desk today, and it's my good friend Dustin. Dustin, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Maddie?
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dustin Abram. I'm Director of Operations for our innovation programs here at Cal Poly, which includes the CCI and the Space Grand Challenge. And I'm really excited here. And first off, before we say anything else, I want to give mad props to Maddie here, who has been phenomenal as our host this year.
Thank you.
In addition to our crew in the back, all of our students here at the CCI who are just doing phenomenal work keeping the game running and helping to ensure that the next generation of cyber professionals are being developed out there.
Yeah, and we could not, this would not be possible without our amazing direction of our directors and our supervisors that certainly give us the opportunity and the skills to kind of apply our learning to maybe our future jobs or future professions that we take from the CCI and from Cal Poly in general. But starting off with our questions today, how about you tell everybody a little bit more about what you do at the Cybersecurity Institute and, more importantly, the SDC as a whole?
So my role here is really to provide support so that the students here at our programs and our staff can really help to develop the Space Grand Challenge as this incredible tool that it is to help the next generation of cyber professionals build their skills, get interested in cybersecurity as a career path in the future, and hopefully, in some cases, come to Cal Poly and work with us as well.
Exactly. And as a Cal Poly student, I mean, maybe I'm a little biased. I think Cal Poly San Luis Obispo is a wonderful school, as I'm sure a lot of our support staff will also agree with me and tell you. As stated before, I think it's important to mention that the SGC is created for middle and high school students. So why do you think it's so important to engage middle and high school students in a cybersecurity program like the SGC?
Yeah. So, really, we want to try to get information and get experience as early as possible. You think about it for yourself. When did you start thinking about the career and the direction that you wanted to go in the future? Really, it was probably middle school, right? Where you started to really think about, okay, here's what I'm interested in, here's where I want to go. You then head into high school, and you still kind of keep building up that knowledge and skill set to prepare yourself for the future. Well, if we can actually create a game-based learning platform like the Space Grand Challenge and create it in a way that these students at an early age can get engaged, we're helping to actually share the information about cybersecurity, about the career pathways that it opens up, and the impact that it can have for the future.
Exactly.
The reality is that a lot of these students probably aren't necessarily always thinking about cybersecurity as a career path, but there's a lot of doors that it can open up and a lot of great opportunities and jobs in the future. So let's get them in early, let's get them thinking about it, and let's really help them to set themselves up for a great opportunity in the future.
Yeah, what really the SGC is doing, and I totally agree with you, is that it's kind of giving students the ability to build their confidence. It's giving them the tools, the platforms, the ideas, and most importantly, there's a lot of critical thinking in the SGC. I mean, we have received a lot of your input, and my support staff, or our support staff, has been working overtime in order to help you. We understand that you are critically thinking and you're building your confidence, and it's certainly something that we aim for here at the SGC. But moving on from that, what skills or mindsets do you hope participants walk away with after completing the challenge?
Well, let's see. From a skills standpoint, the Space Grand Challenge, we probably didn't go deep dive into this, based around NIST standards to help people understand the basics of cyber. And there's a reason why we have, the intro courses that are in the game, and then we have our more advanced players as well for those students who might have cybersecurity programs in their schools, so they can have a little bit of a deeper dive of engagement.
Right.
The goal here is really helping students who have not touched cybersecurity before, have not been steeped into that arena, to get them understanding the concepts, to get them understanding, what is a cipher, what are cybersecurity basics, what's some networking information around this, starting to get those feet wet into that topic, and then start building those skills as you move forward. Same thing that we do here at the CCI is bringing students in who may not have actually been involved, like yourself, in cybersecurity before, but helping you to actually build your knowledge and understanding to set you up for success in the future. So my hope is that students who are playing the Space Grand Challenge are really taking to heart that this is an opportunity for them. It's creating an opportunity for them to engage, to learn in a fun and a fun environment that they can really start to build some of those skills themselves as well.
Yeah, it's serious hands-on learning. We're here to help you build your confidence, to kind of adapt the cybersecurity standpoint. And I love what you said about the fact that maybe some students who have cybersecurity programs in their schools that want to go to an advanced level, we do have that. And then we have the students where you can start from ground one. In fact, most of our supervisors encouraged myself, and then obviously we've talked about him before, my lifeline over there, Kevin, to actually play the game. And one of the times when we were here practicing, at the tech park. Kevin and I tried to do it, and it was, we went through it. We had never touched cybersecurity before in our lives, and we were able to kind of understand it and build those skills, and it was definitely an experience, and we hope that you had a similar experience as well. Moving on from that, can you talk about the impact you've seen the SDC have on students, education, and career paths?
Yeah, so there's two learning pieces that the Space Grand Challenge provides.
Right.
One is the learning that we're talking about for middle and high school students. The second one is the learning and skills development for our students here. And if we look at that, what we're really trying to do is Cal Poly is a polytechnic university. Our ethos is learn by doing.
Right.
We want to help our students actually engage and have real experiences. So we focus on how can the Space Grand Challenge work that we're doing here at CCI augment the learning that's happening for our students in the classroom, and then give them an opportunity to actually have real world experiential development learning and education here at the CCI to help build their understanding and prepare them to be really what we like to focus on is that day one ready workforce for the future. So that when you graduate as a student who went through our program here, you are actually in a better position to get those jobs, to get into a career because you've actually had real experience in a program where you've been slowly building up your expertise in some of these areas. So we are doing development for game-based educational development, cybersecurity education, AWS backend education for our students. It's a whole suite of activities that we really want to see that those students could take with them, as we were just talking about earlier. Put it on your resume, so that you can actually say, look, I actually did this real thing that can help me in the future.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting that you brought up taking students' classes and kind of their experience at Cal Poly and applying it to real world scenarios. If you remember, or if you were tuning in during the broadcast, we were able to interview a lot of our Unity students and a lot of our broadcasting students or Discord students, and a lot of them were saying that it's been a great pleasure to kind of work on a big project such as this, where they're able to apply the skills that they're learning in their classes on a real project that requires deadlines. This is no joke, guys. This is a real job. We have deadlines, we have expectations that we have to complete, and it's jarring, and it's really nice to be able to make mistakes and still have educators go, okay, so you did this was good, but let's try to steer it in this direction so that we can take that criticism and be able to apply it maybe after college or wherever we go after this. And I think that's a really, really innate thing that Cal Poly does very well. I am a communication student, and a big reason that I came to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo is because as a high schooler, I had real job anxiety. I know it's a big issue for a lot of students. I was always worried that I didn't know where I was going to get hired. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but Cal Poly has a list of internships and a lot of opportunities for its students where they're willing to work with you. Like, the CCI has been nothing but accommodating to me, and I'm sure they've been very accommodating to my fellow classmates and fellow students. So we thank you for that. Thank you, Dustin.
Well, it's important to take into account, I think we tell every student when they first come here, you are a student first. We want you to be successful in your classwork. We want you to be successful in your education that you're here. We want to be able to build on top of that.
Right.
But when you come through the programs here. And I think you mentioned something there about this is a no joke, real job.
Yeah, this is a no joke, real job.
So, and it is. So we're actually applying the same methodologies that you would have to deal with in the real world. So from an agile development approach to make sure that tasks are being met in a timely fashion.
Exactly.
To make sure that the goals are being set. But as you said, also understanding that it is education as we're going through this. So if you run into a problem, how do we walk through that? How do you learn from that experience so that in the future you're way better positioned when you're out there and on your own?
And overall, just professional as a whole, you're able to kind of approach your problems differently. You're able to approach failure differently. We were able to talk with people like Owen and Brennan from before who are working on the Unity rooms and how they approached maybe an error in their their room, or what maybe a problem in their code and who they took it to and how they kind of approach that frustration. And they're able to learn that here so that when they move on to whatever or wherever they go, or if they stay in this development field, then they're able to kind of adapt and learn from there. And it's a real gift that we're able to.
Well, you know what they say, learn by failing is part of learn by doing.
Exactly. Oh, they should put that on a shirt. Where are you, Cal Poly? Come on, we need to get a marketing team on this.
There's something to that.
Exactly. I agree. Well, for our last question, I want to ask, if you could leave today's participants with one final message, what would it be?
I think from my perspective, probably the biggest thing that I would say, and this would be to our players who are out there, you know, we're in an interesting time where there's not a lot of resources that are available to students in the K through 12 space to help augment some of these additional learning opportunities that are out there. I would say, talk to your teachers, talk to your schools, let them talk to your parents and let them know what's the impact, what are you taking away from this program and how you would like to see more of that. If we can get more support and help to those educators and to those schools out there, it would be wonderful to get more cybersecurity programs involved into our schools, because the reality is we live in a digital society.
Exactly, I agree.
And part of cybersecurity isn't just about learning how to be, you know, the nitty gritty of being protecting from hackers or working in technology itself, but there's also this capacity for people to learn about digital citizenship and how to actually be cyber safe themselves. So we want that kind of education out there as well. So talk to your schools, talk to your teachers about how this is impactful for you. And hopefully we can translate that in the future to getting more support in schools for cyber education at an early stage. Because the reality is, it is important.
It is.
It is necessary for everybody. It is a part of all of our daily lives. And education is only going to be better, and it's only going to be more impactful the earlier it starts.
Yeah, it's only expanding. We're living in an ever digital world that it's like moving very, very rapidly. And I have talked about it before on the broadcast that it's important that we educate the youth on how to navigate that world, because let's be honest, it's new. It's new for us. It's new for them. It's important that they know how to go through that. And we really appreciate the messages that you're sending. We encourage you to start clubs in your school, talk to your teachers. And if you have anybody interested to join the SGC next year, we hope that we'll see you there.
Yes, it has been phenomenal. We love the fact that we're getting more and more states, we're getting more and more schools across the country playing the game every year over year. We want to see that increase where we actually have maybe a year where we've got every state represented. How awesome would that be?
That would be amazing. SGC is going to be on the map. And you are there to support it. All right. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Thank you, Maddie, and thank you for everything that you've been doing, and thank you to our whole team for all of their effort to put this on. You know, I just want to make sure everybody understands it takes a year to get everything prepped and ready for this competition, and these students work really hard to make this a success and to ensure that you all are having fun out there. So thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, we are going to cut to a very, very short break, and we're going to be back with closing statements. And then right after closing statements, you will all get to see the scoreboard. We look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Space Grand Challenge. And for the last time, my name is Madeline Hott, and I am so grateful to be your host and guide for this event. And next to me, I have joining us for another time, my friend Rob. Everybody say hi. Thank you so much for joining us,
Hello, everyone.
Rob.
Congrats to the teams. You guys, it looks like you had so much fun. I was kind of jumping into Discord, catching some of the chat there. Some interesting conversations, but overall, it seemed like you all had fun. So we're so happy about that. And just we're wrapping up here. So
it's been an incredible journey filled with innovation, resilience, and teamwork. Overall, over the course of this event, we've witnessed some of the brightest young minds take on real-world cybersecurity challenges with creativity, critical thinking, and teamwork. You've proven that the next generation of cybersecurity is here today. Isn't that really cool?
That
We are
is
here.
super cool. Super
We are
cool.
so happy. And we want to take a moment to recognize the hard work and dedication it took to get here. As mentioned with Dustin a little bit before, it takes a while to get here. We want to appreciate you and our support staff and our teams and our supervisors. We want to thank all of them. Preparing for a competition like the SGC is not easy. It takes perseverance, passion, and determination. Whether today's results matched your goals or not, know that still participating in something this challenging puts you among the future leaders and problem solvers of the world. We also extend our heartfelt thanks to the coaches, mentors, families, and supporters who stood by our competitors every step of the way, along with our numerous interviewees and experts that came to spend time with us at the desk. Your encouragement and guidance are the foundation of what makes success possible. As we close out today, we want to leave you with this. The world of cybersecurity, space technology, and global innovation is growing faster every day. There are challenges ahead, but there are also endless opportunities. The skills you have demonstrated here, problem solving, teamwork, perseverance, are the very skills that will shape our future. No matter where you go next, keep pushing boundaries, keep asking questions, and keep imagining a better, safer, and more connected world. At this time, I'd like to invite our support staff to come and join us at the desk. And I ask, once you get up here, that you all say your name and your position at the SGT. Come on, guys. We're so excited. Everybody. You know some of these faces, guys.
Hi, I'm Winnie, and I'm on the Discord team.
Hi, I'm Owen. I'm on the AWS team, and I spoke earlier.
Yep. And you were a superstar, man.
Hello, I was also on broadcast. I'm Lex. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen me in your chats, but I'm on the Discord team.
Who's next?
I'm Isaac. I'm Isaac. I work on the infrastructure on the back end. Yeah. Oh no.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We're doing well.
All right, I'm Jacob. You guys saw me earlier on here as well. I'm one of the Unity developers who worked on the Unity rooms that you guys played in.
Perfect.
Hi, I'm Shrikar, and I'm part of the Unity team. Yeah, I'm at the rooms.
Thank you.
I'm Brennan. I also worked on the Unity team. You guys heard from me earlier.
Hi, I'm David. I'm one of the ones working on Unity as well. I worked on the Hacker Hideout. Down. Oh.
No, your face.
I work on the Hacker Hideout, and I'm one of the ones menacing the Discord channels right now.
Wow. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to our person behind the desk, my good friend Kevin. Kevin, come up here. Say hi to say hi. Say hi to everybody. I want to say hi to my good friend Kevin. This is our man behind the desk. He's been my buddy through this whole thing.
Hi, I was the one behind the desk, as she just said.
Yeah, he's my lifeline. That's
I was
my
also
lifeline.
a few broadcaster from last year too, so behind the desk this year. So
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh. There you go. Thank you, everyone, for being part of this amazing event. Thank you for your passion, your effort, and your dreams. Until next time, stay curious, stay determined, and as always, reach for the stars. This has been the Space Grand Challenge, and we will look forward to seeing you next year. Goodbye. Right now, I'm going to pass my headset over.
One more thing, scores. So we wanted to congratulate the top scoring teams. I'm going to do it in order from first all the way to third, and then an honorable mention. So the top scoring team, drum roll please. Hills Hackers #1. It's a middle school with 10,025 points. Woo! We broke the 10,000 mark. That's great. In second place, Cyber Aggies Chicken Jockey. It's a high school. They had 9,970 points. Woo! Good job.
Awesome.
In third place, we had White Top Hats. It's another high school with 9,940 points. Good job. Good job.
Awesome.
And a special recognition to Purple Dinosaurs, a middle school that had 8,660 points. All right.
Woo-hoo!
Congrats to all the teams. Henry, do you want to say a couple of things?
Yeah, I just wanted to close out a little bit and tell you all thank you so much. We're really impressed with the scores this year. We had some new rooms, some new fun, and you all did extremely well. And I want to thank Rob, Dustin, and everyone in the crew, Ryan, everyone over here doing the best job on the planet. If you want to play again by yourself, May 12th through the May 16th next month, go to our website and you can register. Super secret. And then I'd like to announce we'll let you play again with new stuff in October. We'll be testing our new stuff October 20th through October 25th. We'll be able to let you all, again, this will be one-person play or, non-teams, but a sandbox, if you will. So anyone would be able to play high school, middle school, even your grandma. Because I know there's grandmas out there that want to do cybersecurity. And I want to give a shout out last to all of our sponsors again. Thank you for everyone. This hat I'm wearing here today is from F Prime. It is JPL's onboard flight control system that's open source. So go check it out. Maybe that'll be in your next challenge. I don't know. All right. Thank you all, everyone, and have a great night. Cheers to everyone, and peace out.
See everyone.